We OG, we OG. Oh no, G. You're not bullish enough, yeah. Oh no, you're not bullish enough. You ain't got the or no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to overload, yeah. Experts on reload, yeah. You're not bullish enough, yeah. Oh no, you're not bullish enough. You ain't got the or no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to overload. Experts on reload. Mempool getting hot. Everybody wanna rock, ayy. Runes is coming, everybody on a knot, ayy. It's a nuisance, Ordinal revolution, ayy. Ordinal revolution. Yo, it's my guy for real, bro. Got French right now. Yo, BRC 420, bro. Yo, that shit on fire, bro. Imagine if he in here. Yeah, lock it in the seal. Murder. I got balls of steel. Nookies on the field. Yeah, this shit for real. With no calls, I get so far. Got 100 phone calls that I go hard, and they gon' love me. Smoke weed, huddle back. I get shiesty. Where my Bitcoin looking lovely. All this Satoshi's nothing above me. Bitcoin's alive, what you gon' do? Mempool fees are high. Ordinal. Where does it stop? Nobody knows. It's a revolution, ayy. Bitcoin is the one, no substitution, ayy. Wish you seen you go be it's Ordinal revolution.
Welcome back to Ordinal Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire Bitcoin Ordinal ecosystem. What's up, guys? We have an amazing show for you guys today. We are live with another Ordinal hour, and this one's going to be absolutely insane, guys, because the markets are red, but we don't think it's going to stay red for too much longer. We do think we're going to get very bullish really soon. We know you guys say you guys are always bullish, but that's just kind of how we feel, right? We're in a a cycle where it might be really super. And, we might get a lot of cycles inside this cycle, right? So, yeah, it's bearish now, but we truly believe it's going to get really bullish and it's going to get crazy. And I'm not worried about it. Yagubi's not worried about it. I don't think you guys should be worried about it either. Sit back, relax. We have a great show for you guys today. At 12 o'clock, we're going to be joined by BitPerp. Their testnet is live. If you guys want to go check that out, we've been messing with it this morning. It's fun. It's exciting. And you're earning, but you're just playing with the, with fake USDT. And I got liquidated this morning. I took 120x long, and that wasn't a good idea. But at the same time, I'm, potentially farming. So definitely want to check out BitPerp.io. We'll have those guys on at 12. And then at 12:30, we have the legendary guys from Runner joining us. Some big updates with Nat that went down yesterday, I believe. But we're going to be talking about more stuff than that, too. And we're going to ask them about the stuff that they're getting into and maybe stuff that we should be looking at. Really excited for those guys to join. And that'll be about an hour and a half from right now. Really excited for today's show. Really looking forward to it. I'm glad you guys are here. I'm glad you guys are rocking with us. And Webdro. I love you, buddy. But let's get it. Without further ado, let's bring in my partner here. As always, Mr. Yago. What's up, buddy?
What's up?
What's going on, man? How you feeling today, bro?
Emotions are kind of everywhere in terms of the space, but trying to stay calm. Definitely didn't expect this big of a slap in the face, even though probably should have after Friday. I just was really impressed with the stability that I saw with Bitcoin over the weekend, and then I guess like once 9:30 hit, these guys said, "All right, we're gonna keep taking this down, maybe flush out a lot of leverage." And hit a little bit of a reset. So I'm just trying to focus on the things that I can control, which is learning each and every day, trying to make the show along with you as good as possible for our community and audience, and try to educate them as much as possible as well. So,
yeah, 100%. Well, to your point here, over 110 billion was wiped out from the crypto market in 24 hours. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money being kind of wiped out. That's through leverage and through coins go down. So
Yeah. Number go down. Number go
no,
down.
So Bitcoin fell under 88,000. Obviously, it's further down there now, but that was the first time since November of 2024. It's been a long time since we saw the 80s, and we didn't see the 80s for very long. It was like a week before we went right up to 90 and then eventually to 108. I think that's the all-time high. But pretty crazy. I mean, we're in February now, so that's going on 3 months ago.
Yeah, I don't want to go back to those days of the summer of 2024. It was brutal. You're talking about late spring, early summer, that late May, June, all the way to really September, October-ish. October is things started getting a little bit, frisky in terms of Bitcoin's price action, but the last thing that I think anybody wants is that just ranging, between $10,000 and then with an occasional like hard bleed out is what we would see. But I don't really know what to expect. We're in like uncharted waters, I feel like, for this cycle. We're trying to play things similarly to how previous cycles rhymed, but it seems to be, we got to be, on our toes and expect anything really. So the super cycle theory, I think that's definitely still in play. Like things could get really bullish later this year, early next year, and we don't know what's going to happen in the summer, but could be drawn out a bit.
Yeah, it just feels like we're going to have a whole bunch of cycles within the cycle, right? A bunch of mini cycles where we go up, come down, we go up, we come down. And it's something very similar to what Jake Gallen actually predicted when he was on the show that one day about the, potentially sitting here in this, I guess now it would be like 85 range, 108 range, right? In between there for a couple months and then going for the next leg and continuously having that, right? Getting up to 130, staying there for, 3 to 6 months and then doing it again. That would be a super cycle, and then eventually everything kind of takes off. But when does it happen? Does it happen at 130? Does it happen at 160? Does it happen at 210 when everything kind of joins the party with Bitcoin? But not sure.
Yep. We just got to be ready for anything. One last thing I'll say on this, though, is the reason why, for the people that have experienced previous cycles, the reason why things probably feel so just nasty right now is because when you experience multiple cycles, you kind of feel like you have like the answers to the test, right? Like in terms of like every 4 years, things cycle in and out of our space. And this year, the answers aren't matching up, right, in terms of the bull run year, but hopefully we get something similar at some point. But I'm staying patient.
Every cycle was different, right? We didn't peak in 2017 until December of that year, right? So I mean,
there was a good run up though in the spring. There was a very good run up because I was in that same boat as you because I probably said that so many times that like that's really what a lot of people just remember is that Q4 was the blow off the top, but I was wrong. I went back and looked. Spring actually had a decent pull up with like the altcoins and Bitcoin, but it wasn't like Q4. And that's what I was hoping for as well. Like this time, I was like, we might not get the 2021 spring, which was a blow off the top, and then there was a manipulated blow off the top in Q4 of 2021 as well. But maybe we get that 2017 kind of nice rise up in the spring, and then the blow off the top Q4. Right now, I just don't know. I mean, I really don't know what to expect at this point.
I'm kind of expecting that though. I'm kind of expecting spring to go up to 130. Let's just say April, May, and then maybe we have a rise. But then maybe we hang out at 130, 150 for 6 months, and that'll lead us right into Q4. Then we have that explosive run that kind of goes crazy. You have to remember, like in 2017, I think in that spring, what you're talking about, Bitcoin was still only at like 4K, and then
it's relative.
It ran up from 4K to 19, right?
Yeah.
So in that last part of it, so that's kind of what I'm expecting, maybe early next year.
But and also there was a pullback that was pretty substantial in 2017 in January for Bitcoin.
Yeah.
But I think because I'm such an analytics guy, I'm matching things up so much that like it throws me off, right? Because I'm like, okay, we didn't get that pullback in January. Now we're getting it in February. So that's what I mean by be on your toes, kind of be ready for anything, and that's what I'm trying to adjust to.
Yeah, 100%. BlackRock just deposited 18,168 Bitcoin about $44 million, and then 18,000 Bitcoin at $160 million into Coinbase in the past hour. So we do know that this was customer funds, but this was funds they were buying pre ETF, right? So to me, that they're either doing one of two things. Obviously, they could be selling it, or they're just basically putting this into their ETF. And then creating the shares with that, because we do know that Coinbase is a custodian of theirs. What do you think they're doing with this much Bitcoin, this much Ethereum?
Yeah. So if it's customer funds, how could it be pre ETF?
Because they just buy the ETF. Ever since the ETF, they just buy the ETF for their clients. They don't buy actual Bitcoin or Ethereum anymore. They just buy their ETF, which the ETF goes and buys the crypto through Coinbase.
Yeah. But my point that I'm making is that you're saying that these are customers' funds, but like if it was pre ETF, these would still have to be, the customers buying the ETF and then BlackRock purchasing these, correct? Or am I getting that wrong?
Well, pre-ETF, if you were a BlackRock customer and you want a Bitcoin, they had to go on the market and buy it, right?
Well,
And
did they
had
not? I thought they
just
didn't even offer that.
Well, they offered it to their high-end clients.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, no,
I thought
they offered a Bitcoin for a long time.
okay.
Probably
I thought
since
Grayscale. I
2022.
thought Grayscale was the only one that had any sort of exposure in the traditional markets
That-
to crypto.
That was a trust, though. So they were actually just buying it for their clients. Like they were, if you want a Bitcoin, they'd go out and get it for you and then custodian for you.
Cool.
But now they're
Yeah.
using Coinbase and they're using the ETF.
Interesting. That's good to know. But this is not good for anybody. I don't feel like, right? Because now
they could
you
just be
have
putting
people,
this into the ETF.
Yeah, true. They could be, putting it to back but I don't know. Like, regardless, whenever this type of, that's the one good thing about blockchain is that like you have internet sleuths that are really just tracking, certain entities
Yeah.
and where things are going. But when you put a headline out like this, it gets people nervous, right? So does it not seem like there's like an orchestrated effort right now to just really shake like everybody out? Like it's one by one, like Bybit hack, then you go to like the Binance selling off and all this stuff, and then now you go to headline like this, and it's like bam, bam, bam.
Yeah.
It seems to be orchestrated to really shake retail out of their positions, bring the prices lower, almost like a reset. I don't know. Maybe I have my conspiracy tinfoil hat on, but that's what it seems like to me.
Yeah. Do you think BlackRock maybe sees a top here? I think that would be another question if they're kind of dumping these assets.
I don't think so, but
Yeah.
maybe they're trying to just balance their risk. I mean, they have like the craziest formulas in terms of risk assessment, so this could be a part of their just procedures.
Yeah. President Trump says 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico will go forward. So he put a pause on that once Mexico and Canada were like, all right, we'll set up the borders. We'll put people there on both sides, but just don't put these tariffs on. And he said, okay, you got 30 days. He came out yesterday, and this is kind of what started the sell off, right? And which really didn't stop. But the other thing that happened was Bybit begins repaying borrowed ETH. So with that, the liquidations, they made $570 million yesterday in liquidations. They say it's not all made money because they got to pay the people who went short, right? So that money will cover some of the shorts, but they pretty much they're starting to pay back their $1.4 billion ETH loan. So yeah, I don't know. To me, it does feel a little orchestrated. Especially with Binance using Wintermute yesterday to kind of sell down a lot of their assets because, probably Binance is in talks with Bybit and they knew the plan, right? So I don't know. It seems very orchestrated, especially with this event here.
Yeah, you got some people on crypto Twitter timeline, being the internet sleuths investigators, really trying to track every single transaction. And I get like the frustration. They're probably we're in some positions are also just like not happy that like the entire market cap of all of crypto has really pulled back recently. But I don't know really what to think of this, right? And the one thing that is weird is the paying. I actually heard that Bybit paid back in full one of the loans that they took out, and that was just so quick of a turnaround. Like no interest, just straight principal, which I think was a favor to them from the other centralized exchange. But it's just wild how that could be. You know what I mean? Like even if they paid half of that back, that's such a like $700 million. That's so much, right? But I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how the next series of events rolls out. Some people have been saying, this is kind of like that reset for a short squeeze. I'm like hopeful in that, obviously. I think a lot of people are, but the way today feels, man, I don't know. It's just kind of like, when do you like even try to time that? Because like you gotta always think like, oh, if you try to catch the bottom, it's such a high probability you're going to catch knives. You know what I mean? And also they don't just let like a negative sentiment last for like 2-3 days. That shit lasts for like a week and a half, 2 weeks. So we'll see.
Well, you can always just go all in and not have anything to buy the dip with, right? I mean,
that is the worst advice probably ever.
That's not advice at all. It's just what I do.
Spot, yeah, of course. Spot. If you're gonna do spot, just know that you could be in like a long term hold for spot.
Long-term investor, baby.
Yeah.
But CZ actually predicted this. He predicted this whole thing 4 years ago. He had a tweet from I want to say December 17th, 2020, where he said, "Waiting for the headline, Bitcoin crashes from 101 to 85,000. Save this tweet." So he tweeted this in before the bull cycle, or maybe right during it. But yeah, I mean, it happened. Like this basically happened.
Yeah, I mean it's 85. 80. It touched 85.8, I think, right here, 85.8. So let's just hope that it's over now. Like it reached like his forecast or his prediction here.
Yep. So shout out to CZ for always being right. But I'm about to make a tweet now that's saying Bitcoin's going to crash from 700K to 400K, and then put this back up. Like, I was right, guys. I was right. So, but Donald Trump Jr. actually came out and says buy the dips. So it feels like these big guys now, these rich guys are coming out and saying stuff that crypto guys have been saying since 2012, 2013, right? It's just funny that I don't know, Donald Trump Jr., he's bullish.
Buy the dips. Yeah, I mean, yeah. You know how many people probably just felt disgusted when they read that, just because it's like, I've been buying the dip. I can't buy the dip anymore. Like it's like the dip has been bought multiple times, and so I don't know.
You got to remember, a lot of these guys are newer. I mean, a lot of these guys have just been in Bitcoin for the last 3 to 6 months, especially some of the richer guys who can only really want to buy it through the ETF. Those guys are very happy about this, right? They didn't want to go to 150. They didn't feel like they had enough. So you got to remember, there's a lot of people out there who are very excited, especially TradFi guys, about this dip here.
Yeah, I would imagine so, right? I would like to be in a fly on the wall in some of those advisory phone calls from like BlackRock, Vanguard to the high end clients on like, okay, this is what's happening. This is what you probably should be doing and all that stuff. Because like I'm sure there's probably some older traditional investors that are freaking out a little bit right now, But their advisors might be telling them, "Hey, calm down. This is exactly what just buy the dip right now."
Well, I mean, a lot of those guys too, they've probably just been DCAing in. I mean, TradFi is not like retail, right? These guys are smart. They don't trade like we do. They don't just go all in and on stuff. They buy over time and they hold for long periods of time, right? So they always get excited on dips because they always have money because they're not stupid like us or me, for instance, and just goes all in. It says, "I'll be fine. Everything's fine. Everything's good." But yeah, I mean, we'll see. All right. So the next thing here is $65 billion Citadel Securities is looking to become a liquidity provider for Bitcoin and crypto, betting on President Trump's embrace of the industry. So Citadel, if you don't know who they are, just know that they are the guys who helped short GameStop, right? They were the company behind the one that went down, right? As I believe that is right. So how do you feel about Citadel now coming in and wanting to be a liquidity provider? What is a liquidity provider? That's just for the
market maker.
Market maker.
Market
Okay.
maker, yeah. Just going in and making sure that the markets are balanced out and volume is there and all that stuff. But the problem with them is they have been the conglomerate of TradFi doing this, and also kind of what's their other business that they were in? So market making, as well as I think they were brokering as well. There
Yeah.
definitely something that was like conflict of interest, I would think.
Yeah.
But Ken Griffin is the head of that, and he's at every political major event. And so, does this worry me? Not right now. But there are, like, this goes into the conspiracy theory of what's happening right now too. A lot of people are saying that, with Citadel coming in and being a liquidity provider, they're going to make sure that the rules are at least not like against them to start off with, because they could lose a lot of money. They could
Yeah.
lose a lot of liquidity coming into this business. And I think some of these other market makers and liquidity providers, centralized exchanges, could be prepping for this. Now, this is obviously speculation, but that's what a lot of people are speculating. The conspiracy side of things is that, like, things are getting reset to kind of usher in Citadel here.
And Ken Griffin's such a scumbag. Like, there was a DAO called Constitution DAO, right? And they wanted to raise enough money to buy a Constitution. And Ken Griffin knew the exact number, because you can go online and you could see the exact number that they raised and their max amount they could actually bid. And he just went a few $1,000s above that for his bid. And he got the Constitution over the Constitutional DAO. So he's he's definitely, maybe he wanted the Constitution, I don't know, or maybe he just wanted to say F you to those guys. But Ken Griffin has been a scumbag for a long time, in my opinion.
Was that like a spit in the face to crypto though? Was he kind of like, okay, this is?
He didn't want them to have the Constitution, basically.
Okay.
He was like,
The
I'd
Constitution.
rather have it. So there's like 11 or 12 Constitution, like the
Copies of it?
Constitution. Yeah, copies of it,
Oh,
right?
okay,
That are in circulation. A couple of them are in museums and around the world. One of them went up for auction. Constitution DAO said, we want to get this. The guys had money. People were buying
Gotcha.
in exchange for tokens, like the DAO tokens, right? And then they raised up like a crap load of money. I can't remember the amount. They're ready for the auction. They put the full money in the bid. Ken Griffin came in a few $1,000s higher and won the bid.
Okay. Yeah,
So-
I heard something about this. I just didn't know. At first, I didn't know it was King Griffin that was the one that won. Secondly, after you just told me he won, I almost felt like he didn't want crypto bros to be like, to win that.
Yeah, that's 100% what it was. He doesn't want stupid Constitution like that. He don't give a shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he don't care. But he just didn't want them to have it. All right. Guess who's back? Back again. SBF is back. Tell a friend. So Sam Beckman-Fried tweeted yesterday, and I got excited, bro. I said,
Did you? I saw your
who do we
post.
need?
I couldn't tell if it was satire or not, though.
I said, who do we need right now? We need SBF. He knows how to make markets go up. He knows how to make a bull run happen. SBF is back. No, I'm just kidding. But I was. It was me just messing with the market. I was trying to get some engagement, which is not much of it right now anyway. So I did get some. But SBF came out and he tweeted from jail, or his parents tweeted for him, or someone tweeted it. But he's really just talking about politics. SBF is a politics guy. He's not a crypto guy. That's what his friends say, right? And again, he comes out. A lot of it is talking about firing people and stuff like that. But it just. But one thing did happen though, is his post, because coin
coincided with
30%.
Oh my god!
Yeah, off that tweet. So his post coincided with 30% spike in FTX. So, and he followed me, which is funny.
No,
but I didn't follow him back. I'm dead serious.
Is that the real account? Is that the real?
That is the 100% real account. Like, he followed me off my tweet yesterday.
Yeah,
and I didn't follow him back.
At least that worked. At least that worked. You got him to follow you. That's interesting. Yeah. So a lot of people are.
He's only following 2,000 people.
Yeah,
So
a lot of people were saying that he's trying to take this Ross Albright approach here.
yeah,
Obviously you heard a couple of the headlines before saying like SBF parents are at trying to get Trump to pardon him and this and that, and so obviously the guy doesn't want to stay in jail forever. So maybe
yeah,
he's going to take this approach, but I don't think it works. It's not going to work the same way. Like Ross has so much support from the Bitcoin community, and there was an opportunity. Not, and I don't even think Ross saw that opportunity, but the Bitcoin people did. David Bailey, the founder or the owner of Bitcoin Magazine, and people that were kind of getting close to the Trump team, and they really did that for Ross here,
yeah.
right? And so I don't know if SBF has anybody like that to support him to try to get that pardon. So
Well, there is one thing he can do. We talked about this before, but he can come out against the Biden administration. He can come out and say, "Hey, I have dirt on them that can put these guys in jail for a long time," and Trump might really want that information because he probably does, right? And when you're thinking about 25 years in prison, you're thinking about what you can do, right? I mean, I can't imagine what that feels like, but your life is pretty much gone. I mean, he's going to be, if he gets out, he's going to be closer to 60 years old. I'm not exactly sure how old he is, but he's going to be in his late 50s, early 60s when he gets out of there. And yeah, so you try. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he comes out against Gary Gensler, comes out against Elizabeth Warren, or comes out against Maxine Waters, and maybe gets one of them arrested for stuff that they did with FTX.
yeah, it's gonna really depend on if that is going to be a main objective of the current
Yeah,
administration, which I don't know. We're gonna see, man. We're gonna see. But you're right. I think like people that are in that position kind of feel like a trapped animal or something, right? And so they're gonna
yeah,
try to figure out any way to be able to exit that position. No pun intended there. But
100%.
but we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. It's gonna be very interesting if he continually tweets out or his family does.
Yeah, I mean, Ross tweeted for years, right? Ross would tweet a couple of times a month for years and stuff, and it worked out for him. So
Yeah.
we'll move it along here. Grayscale has filed for a Polkadot ETF. It does seem like a lot of these ETFs are getting recognized by the SEC, and we will see. But right now, everyone's saying, the reason why Bitcoin has been such an amazing asset and nothing else is because of ETF. And then we seen Ethereum get an ETF, and it really didn't do much. Do you think these assets getting ETFs could actually be really good for the crypto market, especially because everyone thinks that it was really good for Bitcoin, not so good for ETH? But do you see Cardano, XRP, Polkadot getting ETFs first? And do you think that maybe starts an altcoin super cycle as well?
Yeah. I think it's good for the majors and the blue chips, but it's bad for the speculative kind of mid and micro caps that won't get approved for ETF right away, and they have to prove themselves because the way our cycle's already changed. We see that right now, right? With TradFi kind of coming in here. This will change it even more, in my opinion, because now we're going to be probably start to clump a lot of these majors and blue chips together as kind of like a Nasdaq or like a
Yeah.
S&P, what I mean, to where they flow together, but then uh it won't necessarily trickle down to like the mids and micro caps as it did in the previous cycles, right? So that's going to be an interesting part, and I think that the mid and micro caps will probably be looked at as similar to like speculative tech stocks were in TradFi, right? So you had your Nicolas, you had your those type of digital advertising companies and stuff that really took off in 2020, summer of 2020, 2021, but then they bombed whenever the economy started to like really, they were the first to bomb. And so maybe we see something like that. But I do think it's good for the majors, and it will give stability to those coins
Yeah, but you
down
you
the
you
road.
you don't think that, like, let's just say Polkadot gets listed, you don't think this is good for hydration, which is the number one DEX on Polkadot?
Mm, Not necessarily. I mean, maybe a little bit, but I don't think it has like continued like effect. Maybe like right initially once they get approved. The thing about the ETF that we've seen, at least, I'm only going on off of based off
Yeah.
what we've seen, right? So Bitcoin definitely like benefited huge, right? But like what in the Bitcoin ecosystem benefited from that? Like maybe Stacks a little bit did for a little bit, but then it
Yeah.
pulled back pretty hard though, right? But anything else, not really. And then Ethereum, I think Ethereum didn't really positively get affected because their tokenomics right now are jacked because of the transaction volume on chain and all this stuff. And
Well,
it just
no, I disagree. I mean, there's
so
only 13.
so
There's
why
barely
would
any
it?
Ethereum coming online.
But the volume wasn't horrible at one point. There was decent like ETF volume that was happening, not just in the US, but like Hong Kong as well, right? And it just didn't really have that similar like thrust up that
Well,
it did for Bitcoin.
the main reason though is because people who own ETH are staking it, and the people who own the ETF can't. So the people who own the ETF feel like they're losing 4% to the people who are able to stake it. So I think that's why the Ethereum ETF isn't doing well, is because the people who maybe do want it, maybe they'll just go buy ETH and then stake it themselves, right?
Yeah.
Instead of,
Mhm.
but that's going to get added in.
But what about the weeks that the ETF did have really good inflows? Because there were a couple that did, and it didn't affect the Ethereum price that much. That's my point. Is
Well,
like
Ethereum went to 4,000 during that period. I mean, it did.
Ethereum went to 4,000 whenever Bitcoin was running up before the ETF was approved. I believe it was like
It was
Q4
no,
of
it was
last
right
year.
around. It was right around the time.
When
Yeah,
did they get
just
approved? Anyways,
gonna do live
I'll check
research.
that. Yeah,
But
I'll
yeah,
check that. But
after
go
the
ahead.
ETF, ETH pretty much was the high of the cycle. Definitely was. But like I think that people realized that they weren't able to stake. And I think that was the problem. So I'm really hoping once we do get some of these assets listed, we actually get the staking ETFs, right? Because I think a lot of these assets coming through, especially like Cardano, Solana, Ethereum, Polkadot and stuff like that, they're all able proof of stake mechanisms, right? They all can just be staked on chain, which is the safest place to stake them. There is no central party. You're actually just staking them in the chain. So the only way you could actually lose money is if the chain breaks, and if that happens, you're losing money regardless, right? Because you own the asset. So in that sense, I think this could really spike the alt season. I think all these ETFs getting listed, because I think they're all going to get listed at the same time. I think the SEC doesn't want to pick a winner, so they're going to list Cardano, XRP, Polkadot, and stuff all at the same time.
Yeah. So Ethereum's ETF was live in May. The two highest points of its price was in March. I think that was probably anticipation for the ETF though, because that was like 2 months before. You hit 4,075, and then the second highest, actually the first highest is right here in December when Bitcoin was going nuts. It hit 41.15. Yeah. In that May period, it hit 3,900. So like I think this probably goes a little bit to your point as well, is that like anticipation for it, and it did hit a high number in May, but the highest number was in that Q4 of last year.
Buy the rumor, sell the news,
kind of situation. But like I think it was disappointing, right? Because like the effect that the ETF had on Bitcoin was vastly more visible, right? Like you just saw like past all-time high, like by a lot. We just didn't see that with Ethereum. But again, I do think it does, these ETFs do well for the specific tokens, but like what in Ethereum ecosystem benefited from it too, so I just don't know if the other projects or tokens benefit too much from it.
Well, there was a couple. Curve did really well. CRV did absolutely amazing, and Convex and a lot of the other did really well. Aave had a really good last year. MakerDAO even went up like about 40% last year. Nothing crazy, 30, 40, 50%, but you can say that might have been with everything else, right? That might have been, but a lot of assets on other chains didn't really go up that much, right? So, but Ethereum definitely had a ecosystem upward momentum, but it definitely lost momentum going into this year for sure. So
yeah, I just never really heard anybody talking about the Ethereum ecosystem this past year, and it was all about
be
Solana,
in it, right? So like what's the name from Banter ran from Banter, he was heavy in Curve. He said that was his asset of the year last year was Curve, CRV, and I think it did okay. I don't think it did like amazing, but it was up like 40% last year.
Yeah. Myself has a good point here. He says Trump still owns over 300 million and ETH. Ethereum is primed to pump. And when it does, altcoins will pump. Yeah. I mean, we've all been waiting for that moment, right? It's like trying to poke Ethereum and say, hey, wake the F up.
Do something.
But but you do have a good point there, myself. The Liberty, that's a part of the ecosystem too, right?
Yeah. So that's a coin on Ethereum. So Benjamin Cohen says a lot of people searching for answers. One potential explanation of this idea: the QQQ had a top 54 weeks after its ETF launched. BTC so far topped 54 weeks after its ETF launch. So this is something Benjamin Cohen has been right almost about everything. Like, it is insane. This guy, he said this. He said, I remember telling you about this. I showed you a chart of the QQQ and I showed you the chart thing. He said that and it freaking happened, but he had it going to 120. It didn't go to 120, went to 108, but it still topped, in his time period of the first couple weeks of January. And this is the QQQ. This is kind of what happened. And then we're kind of experiencing this part of it, right? Of the QQQ right now. But we could see like a pumpward upward and then more down movement, which would be terrible. And because this goes for another 6 months. So if Bitcoin is following the QQQ, then we're in trouble.
I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see if it does follow that pattern there. But man, that was the what, like first year of the ETF for QQQ, or is that the entire life of it?
So that was the first year. So this stops 2021. So it's obviously at all-time highs now. It's way above this number. I think it's so this is showing like one something, but this is the first year. This is year 2000 is when the QQQ came out, or I think 1999. But as you can see, it basically went up, down, sideways, boom. But eventually, it skyrocketed. I don't know what the QQQ number is now, but I know it's super high.
Yeah. No, I was just asking because that chart looked like it didn't have very much volatility at all, and which is amazing. But TradFi and ETF people don't really sell quickly in and out of stuff, right? And so it'd be interesting to see the ETF, just the ETF chart separate from the overall Bitcoin chart. And I guarantee you the ETF chart would look just green candles. Maybe a red candle every once in a blue moon.
Yeah. No, I agree, 100%. I'm about to show you the worst chart ever. You know what that chart is?
Something from Crypto Rover.
No. So this is Ethereum Bitcoin. Look how terrible that looks.
Yeah.
So Benjamin Cohen, another thing he's been saying, and this is the last thing before we get into everything else. He said basically we need to send Bitcoin or Ethereum Bitcoin, so Ethereum against Bitcoin, a home, and the home is a 0-2, and he's saying that because he's saying that this is its home and it needs to go back to its home, and it is pretty much there. We're right there, so he's saying it just needs to go down to 0.2, and then which will lead us to pretty much a double bottom. Double bottoms are key indicators in TradFi. They love double bottoms in TradFi. He basically says this needs to drop down to here, and then we can kind of get along on our merry way. But he's saying it has to happen, and it will happen, and it's kind of his thing. What do you think? Do we drop to this double bottom area?
Man, I don't know. I mean, Ethereum looks very weak right now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked if it happens. He is wrong every once in a blue moon. I think, like myself,
not for long.
Out that like he called 100K Bitcoin at the end of 2021. There was another ETH.
I don't think he did.
I don't know. That's what
I watched him. He did not say that.
Well, unless you're watching every minute of this guy,
Well, he put out a video once, twice a week, and I was definitely listening at work.
Put out a bunch of tweets.
Week.
I'm not saying that he didn't say it or he did.
Yeah,
I'm just reading off of what
I would be completely shocked.
But I do know for a fact he's been wrong, because he was wrong about the ETH Bitcoin correlation. I think it was in 2022. I got to go back to the date, but I remember for a fact. The thing about him though, he will come out and admit. He'll say, I got this wrong. And that's exactly the only reason I knew, is because
this is what he got wrong. he wasn't expecting this. That's when he came out with the tweets up here. But then it eventually did exactly what he said, right? He was expecting it to kind of go down and then pop up, but it just took longer. But right here is when you surprise. This is probably September 2022. That sound right?
Yeah.
So he was
Probably,
wrong, but not for long.
Oh, I mean, that's pretty wrong though. That's like a pretty steep like correction right there.
Well, he just said it's going down to 0.002, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's till
He didn't
today,
give a
right?
time frame on it. Like,
Is that till
he
today?
just said it has to go down, huh?
Well, he admitted he was wrong, is my point. Like, he said,
Well, he
"Oh, sorry,
was.
guys, I was wrong."
But like I
And
said, but just not for long. That's kind of my point.
he didn't say, I'm not wrong for long. Like, I actually
He ended up being right.
I actually like people that can admit when they're wrong. And he actually did that. And to me, I actually respect that way more than kind of dancing around the fact that he got that wrong. Because now I look at like his stuff.
But he wasn't
and
wrong.
He said he was.
But during this period, but he eventually was right.
Well, no, but he said that period wasn't going to happen. But
it ended up happening. Like,
not in that period, not in that time, is what we're saying here. Is what I'm saying.
I don't know, dude.
I know you love the guy.
Go back to see
I know
the
you love
tweet
the guy.
because
I'll try to get you a t-shirt.
dude, it's not that I love him. It's just that he's always right. He's always eventually right. That's it. That's all I'm saying. Is he's always eventually right.
No one can be always right. No one can be always right.
Dude, I've been following him since last cycle, and
so why
I wish I would have fucking listened to him.
You admitted to me that you went against him so many times. Then
I did.
I did.
I would never do that again.
That means you're not smart.
I would never do it again.
That means that you're not smart.
I'm not.
Believe this
not compared
guy,
to Benjamin Cohen. Not
if you
dude.
thought this guy was
not compared to this guy.
No
one's as right as he is.
I will admit, like when I meet a person in person and they're wearing like New Balance shoes that are like kind of roughed up a bit, and I know the guy's worth probably millions. Like, okay, this guy knows what he's doing. He doesn't.
We went to his party that night, like
pretty
rooftop. Fun. All right. It's kind of getting to the fear and greed here. It's bad, bro. It is terrible. I had it on my screen, but I had to take it down because it was bothering me. But I think I know what it is.
You don't have to give me a hint.
All right. I won't give you a hint. Last week was a 47. Yesterday was a 49.
25.
Yeah, you got it. You got it on the nose. How'd you get it on the nose? Like, that's a huge drop.
Yeah, obviously. Like, I think I saw that on my timeline or something.
Okay. But yeah, guys, it's bad. It's not looking good. Not looking good one bit. But let's kind of see where we're at on the Bitcoin price action, brought to you guys by BitPerp. BitPerp is going to be joining the show in about 19 minutes. Their testnet's out. It's ready, guys. I highly recommend you guys use it. That is financial advice because all you're using is your time. If you're okay with spending some time, then you're going to earn by using their site, guys. And these guys, they want to be bigger than just a leverage trading platform. Think Hyperliquid, think a baby version of that. These guys can grow because they're in Bitcoin, right? They're on the Bitcoin layer 2. They haven't announced which one they're going to be using yet, but right now they're using Botonics, the spider chain. So definitely want to check that out. We were using it this morning. But that's the thing too with Botonics. Now that you're over there using it, go find the testnet DEX. Go find the testnet borrowing and lending. Go find the testnet stuff while using BitPerp, right? Because you're already over there. You already have a wallet. They're going to show you how to get the Bitcoin for that wallet. And potentially Botonics is going to have a coin. But the rumor is that all their apps will. And they'll all be doing airdrops. You definitely want to be using a lot of them and start with BitPerp because they're going to show you everything when they join the show in about 19 minutes. Guys, definitely want to do this. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. And, I can't wait for them to join in a little bit. But let's kind of get into that Bitcoin price action.
Let's do it. But before we get into the Bitcoin price action, guys, if you guys could help us out on the YouTube side, smash that like for us, subscribe to the channel, and turn your notifications on so you know when we go live. On the X side, guys, hit that like and share this space. Like Shizzy said, we're going to have the block runner on as well as BitPerp here in a bit. And we want to onboard and educate as many people to our space as possible. But let's get into some Bitcoin price action over here. Share my screen. Okay, perfect. Okay, so first thing I want to share is the CPI.
Oh, you were wrong.
This damn CPI chart that I've been kind of looking at, and me being having a digital marketing background, I do get sucked into the analytics a lot, and sometimes too much, right? Look, how could you really fault me? You see every CPI date, and then like this, uptrend that looks pretty decently aggressive on every single point, like every CPI date. You see that going all the way back, to the last five, but we didn't have that really, right? Yeah, some people might say, well, we did have this uptrend. That's like probably 3 times smaller than the smallest one that we saw. Definitely, we didn't see this like right after, right? We did see a thrust up here and a pull back here. Anyhow, so that's definitely something that I was not expecting. I got this wrong. I expected definitely more of a thrust up here, but this is the 12-hour chart, and yeah, that is not looking great. But this does look like it could be lining up here for, I guess, eventually every strong dip is going to be a short squeeze at some point, right?
Yeah.
Like, so it's like if it lasts for a week, you're like, short squeeze is coming, but it's really just the trend reversing. I don't know. I hope it happens like in the next couple of days, because that would be a short squeeze if it happens in the next couple of days. But if it happens next week, I think that would probably just be like maybe a trend reversal there. Okay, so let's get into what's happening today. All right, so this is the hour chart. As you can see, it's been really down only, since really, the bell rang at 9:30 Eastern. We are starting to see a little bit of stability here to where, the bleeding has stopped a little bit. But as I mentioned earlier, whenever there's like a really strong bad or good sentiment, it doesn't just last for a day or two. It typically will, hang around. And when you scare retail out, that's the whole point, is like people are afraid to buy back in and really get going, right? And then you can see here the VRVP just looks really hideous. It looks so like sporadic. You don't really, see where there's not really too many strong pockets of support. It's definitely heavier in this middle part, at least for the resistance. You can see here, like I said, we have found some stability. These 2 long wicks happen, but we're starting to see a little bit of a push up here. But again, like even at this level of 87,400, it's not too much over powered by the resistance, but it is still. And really, we got to get back to like this 88, maybe like 200, 300 right here, maybe 400, to really show that, get back into that strong price area of support. Then above that too, it's just kind of like the one good thing I am seeing though is that there isn't like a ton until you get to this area that I mentioned earlier of resistance just overpowering like tremendously. So if we do get down here though, this 86,680 right here, it's the resistance is kind of strong here. So let's hope that we don't, and we're not. Oh my God! As soon as I say that, it happens. Okay. Anyhow, you can see here on the leading indicators, the MACD is starting to lighten up a bit. Hopefully we don't drop into that zone that I just mentioned. Also, we didn't really hang out here and overbought for too long. So, when it gets rejected very quickly, but we're not seeing like a strong, like instantaneous, like bleed out, then, we might range here in this top area and then bounce back up. That's really what I'm hoping for. Especially if we do get that short squeeze, I expect something like that to happen in the next day or so. But for the rest of today, I would say just be extremely careful, because you don't know how much further down, the powers to be really want to take this, right? So that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to observe from the sidelines a bit and see when, sentiment gets a little bit better, price action from the on the upside gets a little bit stronger. And, if that short squeeze does happen, it will probably be out of nowhere in the next couple of days, and it'll be like a strong thrust up. So that's also something I'm looking for. But for the second half of today, definitely just observing is what I'm trying to do. The 4-hour chart, it's kind of same thing, right? Like you're seeing extreme like sell pressure here on the MACD. We've been in oversold on the stochastic RSI for a minute. This is just not going to look good until the hour time frame looks better. So yeah, I know that sounds not great, but that is where we are, guys. I'm still cautiously a little bit optimistic. I have lost some faith in that short squeeze, but I will be observing here the next couple days to see if there's any like jerks up in terms of like, price point to maybe show that could be the case.
Yeah, 100%. And obviously, worst case scenario, right? I think it'll be 69,420, which is last cycle's all-time high. I definitely want to stay away from that. I'm okay with 79. I'm okay with 78, 75, maybe. But I think if we hit that 69,420, it might be time to pack it in a little bit for at least 6 months.
Never.
That's the one thing that scares me.
Yeah, that'd be so funny if it hit that number exactly and was like, boop, tag.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me, but it would definitely be really annoying because that means we got weeks and weeks of it takes a while to get that, you know what I mean, to hit something like that. So but let's kind of get into today's roll call on this show. First is first, and first will always be first on this show. And I got my guy here, Webdro. He has officially joined the 9-time club. So shout out to Webdro. Nine
first places.
9 first places, dude. He hasn't had one in a while though. His last one was the 14th, so it's been over 2 weeks. But congratulations to Webdro. He is now at number 9. Danny's right there with 7, and then we have PJNZ with 5. Tim Baker with 3 now. Yeah, and I think Yasher has 5 as well. So yeah, he's really number 1. But he's a very competitive. We noticed that with BetPTC. He's like number 2 on that. He's a very competitive man. So shout out to Webdro, man. We appreciate you, my friend. And you're freaking awesome, man. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
He says end of March latest. Tim Baker said I should have got it. Webdro beat me in my time. Congrats, Webdro. So Webdro got in at 251 yesterday, and Tim Baker came in at 323. Webdro says, thanks, Tim Planet. Kai Effect says, first to like again. Oh, Kai Effect was the first to like. I wish there was a way to see that, but shout out to Kai Effect. Thank you so much, man. And I appreciate you guys. If you guys come in, please like the video. It definitely helps us. YouTube algorithm kind of goes off as the likes go up. I think. I don't know. But it would be nice to have you guys did that for us. Danny Boy says, word. Grats, WD. Webdro says, thanks, Danny Boy. Got to keep up with on-chain revolution. ASAP Benji says, first is first. It goes to Webdro. Lackey Lukey says, GM. Nighthawk says, GM. PJNZ says, here, ready to sell and be rich. Shizzy, make it happen, please. I'll try my best, man. I'll try my best. I don't know who's going to listen to me. Yasher says, hello, people. PJN says, whoa, Shizzy, what did you do? I meant not go down. Yeah, I don't know, man. I apologize, but shout out to PJ and Peanut Butter Jelly Time himself. Danny Boy says high 80s. I was saying, we'll see if it holds. Yeah, for sure. Danny says Nighthawk and I found out we talk daily on the Nuki Spaces. I'm the one he calls a cheater. Honestly, I guess you guys were in there and realized. Yeah, you're both in the Nuki space. So shout out to the Nukis, man. Definitely has a lot of our community members in there, and we have a lot of their community members over here. So shout out to them. Sam Sage does do our song, and he's done. I think he's done over 5 songs for us at this point. We're going to be debuting 3 of them on Wednesday at 5:30 for all our members. You guys, if you are a member, you guys can come and join that, and you'll be the first people to hear. We have some news. You guys, we want you guys to be a part of it and kind of give us your feedback. We are starting to grab some of the URLs and stuff like that just to make sure that we have it for the changes that we're going to make. But we're going to be doing some changes here, and we think it's for the better. We think it's going to be a way for us to grow and to bring new people in, but also make sure that you guys are caught up on everything that's going on. And we'll have more details on that tomorrow. And then Gad Ringer actually says, what's first, 92K or 97?
87.
87. ASAP Benji says, looks like Ordinals are truly dead at this time around.
Never.
Yeah, I know.
Never.
I don't know. Nagi's here. Shout out to Nagi, man. He said, let's go. Mats is here. He says, Nat. Yes, we're going to have the Nat fluencers on at 12:30 in about 37 minutes from right now.
Yeah.
Power is here. Shout out to Power. It's been a long time. I haven't seen you in a long time making roll call, man. Thank you so much for being here. Cheedy says, what's up, guys? Chief Axel is here as always. Thank both of you guys. You guys are much appreciated. Love you guys. Cheedy says, I appreciate the episode that Bittensor and the detail was discussed. The materials that dropped for further research is really educating. Followed through with it. Let led me to Mark Jeffrey's handle. Yes, and we're gonna be doing some talc content with the changes that we're making here. I'm actually gonna I want to go through all 69 subnets and just kind of see what they are. So if you're interested in that, awesome. If not, no worries. We're still going to do the same content we always do. Just going to add a few things in here and there. Superfan is here. Shout out to Superfan here every single day, man. I love you, Superfan. You are a legend. Chidi is here. He's been quiet on the learning how to process the emissions. Oh yeah, you're talking about subnets. Yeah, dude. I actually been really studying it and really put it together. I think I got a really good mind for it now because I've been just everything. I've been looking up everything. I've been searching for it. I think I have it down. And there's a few things I'm still looking into, but I'm gonna have it all for you guys for sure.
There's a lot there, but
It's a
once you understand it, I think it's very important to understand it, and we'll tackle that stuff together.
100%. Then we have Gomo says exchanges are scam wicking this market to oblivion. Yeah, it does feel that way. Steamy J says GM fam. PJNZ said it's mentally hard to buy the dip. When the dip is 10 to 20x, what you've bought at years ago. That is true too. You know, if you bought 4 years ago, it is hard to buy the dip. I've noticed that on a couple assets that I hold. When they run up, it still doesn't feel like a dip because you bought cheaper.
Especially with the alt market. Yeah, that's what people are frustrated about right now, as a whole.
But PG&Z, that's why it's smart to take profits, even if it's just not like the whole sell. But if you take profits when you feel like it's high, when dips happen, you'll be able to get more of that same asset, right? I think
it's hard to do though. Like the problem is that when you buy, the mentality and psychology is changing. I think we go back to a little bit more of like quality projects and companies and stuff like that, tokens. But as of right now, that's not the case. And so your kind of hodl mentality gets you screwed now. And so, it is at this very moment probably more beneficial to take profits, and then knowing that there's going to be a pullback. It's almost like the expectation of a pullback. Where we are today should be a part of things, but I do truly, and I hope that like the quality of hodling, quality projects will come back. So
I think it does. I really do. Pelpa is here. Shout out to Pelpa as a GM Legends. Mike Elf says SBF living in luxury jail.
Probably.
Yes. So he's hanging out with Diddy apparently. Packard says Shizzy ghosting SBF. Yeah, I ain't following that, man. I'm just kidding. Mike, we went over this already. 300. Yeah, altcoins will pump. I agree, 100%. No is here. No with his new keys. Shout out to all the new keys, man. Mike myself says Benjamin Cohen called. I don't think he did, man. I could be wrong. I don't think I am. Patty Poo is here. Sups up. The Bitcoin machine himself. 1,000 bitmap. We got the bitmappers in here today. Shout out to you guys. We got actually huge audience, especially in the thing. I guess a lot of people are here to see the Black Runner and BitPerp for sure. BitPerp will be joining us any minute, so look out for that. Benjamin Cohen, Benjamin Cohen admitted he was wrong too early. His forecast was just fruition. Yeah. So Nighthawk is here. Says Danny Boy putting me on blast. All good. We're buddies now. Shout out to you guys, man. Kai Effect is here. GM guys. Kai Effect says, don't worry. We'll get the blue dot on hash ribbon soon. I hope so.
Yeah. I love that positive energy, man. Kai Effect is positive no matter what. Keep bringing it.
100%. Danny Boy says, yeah, buddy. Kai Effect says, still have another major wave up. I agree. PJNZ says, Shizzy, check the bet BTC 90 or 120K wager. Yeah, I think I want some money on that. I think I went the other way. I'll have to look into that. And then Tim Baker says, better change your members video live for Bulgaria time. I will watch in my AM. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. Yeah, 5:30 Eastern tomorrow. We're going to go live for the members only. But yeah, shout out to every single one of you guys who make roll call every single day. You guys are the reason why we're able to do this. You guys are the reason why we do this. And you guys are absolutely amazing. Thank you so much.
Yep. And a shout out to Pratham on the abstract side of things. Thank you for the tip, the Pingu. But yeah, I think that's all we got over there. But thank you guys for watching.
Yep. And it is Tuesday at 12 o'clock. Well, just about. And every Tuesday, we like to showcase our good friends over at BitPerp. BitPerp has some big changes coming on themselves, and we're really looking forward to that. But their testnet is coming along, and it's coming along great. Me and Yagobi were testing out this morning. I am an idiot. I took 120x long with most of my money, just trying to beat him out, and I was wrong. But it was fun. It was exciting. I didn't lose much. Right, at the end of the day, it was just testnet. Testnet USDT. I highly recommend you guys participate with that as well. That it was fun, guys. Definitely check that out. And I got to figure out a way to get more USDT so I can go long again. So
and to be fair, I took a 35x, which compared to Shizzy is conservative, and I got liquidated as well. Took me a lot longer, but that happened because today was just the bomb of a price trend. But yeah, it is definitely a lot smoother, quicker, and I like what I'm seeing and experiencing so far.
Yeah, it's amazing. So without further ado, let's bring them up. Let's bring up Instant. Let's bring up Marine. Guys, welcome back to Ordinal Revolution. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Yo, what's up, guys? How's it going?
What's up is not Bitcoin's price. I've used that twice this week. That's not a good sign. You guys have been really busy, and sometimes you probably don't feel it as much in terms of the price action. Well, Murray, and I know you're probably more of the trader of the team, but you probably feel it. But what has it been like, being able to release testnet? We'll start with you, Instant. That has people been kind of anticipating it. How do you feel about the I guess feedback that you've gotten so far and the rollout?
Yeah, I mean, I think yesterday this has been the long-awaited testnet that we've sort of been teasing at for a while. I think as we said last week, we totally built out the back end, rebuilt it to be much faster. I think there are still some little tweaks that need to be made here and there, but overall it should be a much smoother process. There might be some little things, but we removed a lot of the major bugs, and this is just the first step towards getting ready for mainnet. We have a lot of really, really, really cool things that we're going to be unveiling in this week even. So it's not just the testnet. And then I think every week thereafter, there's just going to be super exciting news. So if you were a fan of us before, if you had been sort of watching us from the sidelines and just kind of waiting for things to come out, now is the time where we're really going to start pushing the pedal to the metal.
Love it. Is it, as a user though, right, that's listening right now or thinking about going on the testnet, what are some things they should be, maybe goals they can set, or is there any type of I guess incentives or anything right now for testnet users, or is that going to be announced later? If you could get into that.
Yeah, so I will say a bit of alpha here because we haven't announced it yet, but we are going to be launching a raffle for anybody who trades on the testnet. Pretty much as of now, until the end of the week, they'll be entered automatically into a raffle for our token. So that's a bit of an incentive. Additionally, we are going to be releasing just more community events in general. So for using the testnet, maybe some mini competitions, maybe some big competitions later on. I don't want to give away too much at this point. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of incentives coming up on both testnet and mainnet.
So by me going on and making a trade, let's just say I took, take $100 and go take a 5x on that, I get one ticket. And then if I come in and I do another one for Ethereum, I also get one ticket as well.
It's per, so if you make a trade on one wallet, it just automatically gets entered into the raffle.
I got you. Okay, cool.
So
awesome.
Wallet address per wallet address.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Hint.
So,
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, so you're telling me to make a whole bunch of what? No, just kidding. Don't cheat it.
Shizzy's always trying to gamify these test nets and all that stuff.
I mean, that's crypto for you.
Yeah.
He's thinking like a true degen.
But Miriam, someone that has kind of like the trader experience, extensive. What do you like about this latest version of the platform? Is there anything that sticks out to you?
Yeah, I like this smooth UI. It's really, really good. I like this leverage as well, because you can see 150x. That's amazing, but you need to keep risk management on that. So then got liquidated like you guys, right? especially in these times, like manipulations right now. Hopefully, your guys surviving.
Barely.
Yeah, and actually, just to jump in really quick, sorry to cut you off, but so we totally updated the UI. This is going to be the first of a couple updates to the UI, so we're going to be continually improving this aspect. But we changed the you could enter manually like your leverage if you wanted alongside the sliding bar. We have the price that you can get liquidated at, just like more information for traders as a whole using our platform. And additionally, we are going to be rolling out additional assets on testnet as well. We still only have Bitcoin, Ethereum available, but now with this new backend, we're going to be able to add even more assets to testnet. So that's just like some things like already that's going to be different.
So could you just like tell the audience, because we've talked to you in meetings, so we basically know, but like what did you guys do to the back end as far as the upgrade?
Yeah, so that would be a better question for our devs, because I mean they've been hacking away for the past few weeks. But we built. I think the original backend was in Java?
JS.
Sorry.
Yeah, and they switched to Rust, I think.
Yeah, we switched it over to Rust. So yeah, it should be a lot more easier to manage and to make changes, and just a better experience overall.
Yeah, it's been so much better. Like we obviously used it last time you guys put it out, and it was really buggy. And we would constantly tell you guys in chat, "Hey, this needs to be fixed. This needs." But this time, I can't. I wouldn't even be able to like tell you like what needs to be fixed right now, because everything's working really smoothly. Again, I keep just taking too much leverage, but but it's fun. It's exciting, and it's especially during this downtrend, it actually given me something to do, right? Like without really having to use my own money. I'm really thankful for this. Is like the perfect time to put this out, because I can't lose any more money at this point. So I'm actually having fun with this.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity just to practice leverage trading as well before we're actually like launching mainnet. So get your sea legs ready.
Yep. So I know initially the plan was to integrate synthetic versions of the top runes, possibly I think maybe some BRC20s and the Bitcoin ecosystem stuff, but also to have like the popular tokens outside as well. Of the ecosystem. Is that still the plan, or are you guys gonna focus more on like outside stuff, or has the plan changed at all?
No, I think the plan still remains the same. So like we're still Bitcoin aligned. Like we're gonna have runes on there. We'll have BRC20s on there as well. And then meme coins from additional ecosystems. We're trying to provide like niche assets to people who want to trade. So top meme coins, top runes, top BRC20s. If you want to trade it, or if people want to trade it, like we want to have that asset offered on PerpDex and on Bitcoin.
Love
You
it.
need to be aligned with the trend, yeah.
Speaking of the trend, Marion, what is the current trend, do you feel like? Because we just got out of this whole crazy meme coin thing.
Trend is surviving right now, to be honest. No, but for real,
Agreed.
surviving and like, to be honest, preserving capital currently. No gambling on Solana, no taping any new stuff. Just wait until this fire settles up to see where we are headed, and after that, with clearer mind, that, then only, because now it's just throwing money in the fire, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure. What do you go ahead?
This clean was really needed, to be honest. After all these president scams, Libra scam, this was much needed.
Yeah, and that's actually pretty cool that you're saying that, because those type of like volumes and stuff is good for like perp dexes and stuff like that. But even you're realizing that this is kind of a needed clear out. But what do you think is actually happening right now? Because we obviously know that the Bybit hack happened on Friday.
Yeah.
Then there's like all this bad kind of headlines too, like BlackRock is transferring. Do you think this is all like orchestrated to shake retail out, or do you think this is just people thinking too much about it?
To be honest, this is a game of probabilities, so we need to see what's gonna happen. I don't want to predict anything, because I'm a trader myself, so I behave like that. But a lot of people on the Twitter are like asking themselves, are we entering into the bear market, which is I don't want to say it's a possibility, but chances are always there, right? As you saw also that Bybit hack, people are scared. Many round trip bags, multiple 7-figure bags from guys I know also. So it's really fucked up currently. It's a survival game now.
Yeah, and we have partners over in Asia, and these guys been telling us this for a long time, right? They've been we talked to them since like probably like early January. They're saying, guys, I don't think this is the time right now. I don't think it's the time,
Yeah.
and they were right. It feels like a lot of and you can kind of see that in the market as well. A lot of people weren't long-term investing. If they entered the market, they did it on Solana trading shitcoins, and there was just
Yeah.
in and out and stuff like that, and there hasn't been any long-term investing really happening.
Yeah, Soul Casino, people can hold. They just want quick dopamine, few X's and out, especially pump fund, because money is outflowing from the pump fund, not inflowing to the market. Now there is no bids in the market as well, as you can see. So we'll see. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that 4-year cycle could be, disrupted indefinitely because of the ETF? Now we have a new administration in the U.S. that is crypto friendly, but the
Yeah.
market isn't friendly to him being in the administration yet, right? But I feel like this could. The reason why I asked this is because people are speculating that we could be in a super cycle, meaning that like dry right now for like maybe a couple months in the summer, then pick back up in Q4, and then even 2026 could see like lively action. But that would change the 4-year cycle. Do you think that could kind of go away?
I don't think so, because history repeats itself and every cycle is the same. Now that was just all the bullish things. So all the calls and crypto Twitter people, right? They were just like making us happy about it. Maybe also the people that got in too late into crypto are having hopium about it. But in my opinion, yeah, every cycle is the same. It's gonna play out based on the history. So yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, man, 100%. I'll jump back to instant. Like so. Last time we were on here, we had a leaderboard thing, and it was a competition and stuff like that. Do you guys have any plans for that again? Obviously, right now it's just like check it out. If you make one trade, you have entered to win. But what does the future look like for BitPerp on this testnet?
Yeah, so not only are we like sort of revamping like the back end and the new UI, but we're revamping like the entire website. So more news to kind of come on that. But yeah, we're gonna have the leaderboard back when we do eventually return to our competitions. Like those will be included on there. All your favorite pages, with activities, potentially referrals as well. Yeah, lots more things to come.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, the referrals would be really cool. Kind of get people on, and you guys can earn just by getting your friends involved and stuff like that. So, really looking forward to the future of this testnet. Do you know how long we're gonna be? Is there like an idea in your head for like maybe how long testnet could be? 1 month, 2 months? What are you guys thinking?
That's a good question. I'll say that we're going to be having I can't give away too much. We have some like really big announcements coming this week and next week, which is why, I have to be a little cryptic about it. I don't want to spoil the surprise for everybody, but I promise mainnet announcements will be very, very, very soon. So just stay tuned.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't mind if you spilled them on our show next week, but I'm just kidding.
We'll see.
Yep. Are there any updates that you haven't gone over, on the show that you'd like to touch on, or did you pretty much cover it all?
Yeah, no, I think that's pretty much covered. If you had used our testnet before and you haven't used the new one, like please go use the new one. We appreciate feedback. If you guys join our Discord, like please give us feedback in there. We're also always looking to engage with the community and get more people involved, and we run like more community events in there to earn our token. So yeah, join our Discord, check it out, our testnet, and yeah, thanks guys.
Awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
I have good news though. I'm in the green on a trade. So I'm very
He
very
just opened
excited.
it. He literally just opened it. Like, I mean, he sees green candle on Bitcoin's chart, and he's like, "I'm in the green." So, but last question for you, Marian. If I'm a trader, what do I do right now?
What do you do right now?
Like in the market?
You react and adapt.
Okay.
React
So
and adapt.
react and adapt. Okay. So I don't know what to do with that. Because what if I don't know how to react? So basically, I know you can't give me exactly step by step what to do, but like as a trader yourself, are you just observing right now, or what are some actions?
Observe, mark some levels, important levels out, key levels out, and just observe on them how we react on them. Do we see disrespect on them? Do we see respect on them? And order flow will tell you everything you need to know where we are headed next.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that breakdown there. But thank both of you guys for spending time with us in our community today. Every Tuesday, we try to get these guys on just to give you guys some updates and expect some big ones, because we kind of know the one that Instance kind of talk about, but we're going to let them do it. But we're super excited about it, and we will talk to you guys very soon.
Yep, you as well. Thanks for having us on.
See you next week. Bye.
All right, take it easy.
Bye. Thanks,
Bye.
Instant. See you guys. Absolutely awesome. I love those guys, man. It's always fun to talk to BitPerp. And I am actually really loving. I am in red now in that trade, but I'm actually loving being able to do something, right? And like, it's not for nothing, because I am actually earning, like he said, by making these trades. My wallet will be in a raffle, and potentially I could win. And if I do win, I'll be giving that away to you guys. We'll do something over here. Should be fun. You know what I was thinking for a giveaway type of thing? Opening up a brand new wallet, sending like an ordinal to that wallet, right? And maybe like a little Bitcoin, and then like scrambling up the words, the 12 words, and putting them out there. And the first person to unscramble them wins the prize.
Oh, you mean the order?
Yeah. Like give the 12 words, but not in the right order. And then I think that'll be a fun little surprise.
It would be fun.
So we could do something like that eventually down the line.
That could take forever.
Well, that's up to them, right?
Yeah,
I mean, if you want to
know.
participate, you can. If you don't, you don't. But that could be a little thing. Maybe we'll do that like around like the summer or something, and then see who wins. And and then the person that wins, actually, you win a prize, because you just withdraw that item to your own wallet and you get to keep it. So that could be something we do in the future.
Well, the thing that sucks with that though is like you can't tell if you're close to right, or you know what I mean, like
or,
like
maybe we could give them like the first 6.
Okay.
Right?
You gotta definitely have to make it a little
and, like, maybe every day someone doesn't get it, we give them one more word.
One more hint,
One more hint. We'll like or something like that.
That's
and then
more
do it for like 12 days.
realistic,
Yeah. And so we do it for like 12 days or something. That could be really fun. I've been just thinking of ways of giveaways to kind of give back to you guys, and that was something I was thinking about doing. So the prize would actually be worth it. We could do something over the course of a couple of days. And but if you had the time and you figure it out, you figure it out. So
that Bitcoin frog idea might be. It's getting pretty
cheap.
Right, chip.
Let's actually jump into that. I'm actually curious. I know the OMB dropped today. Let's kind of take a look at what that is.
Dude, it's a fire sale over here, bro. It's a fire sale.
How bad?
Fire sale?
Puppets. Let's look at it in USD form. Holy cow!
Oh wow, that just dropped, right? Or no? Is it still 0.04 though?
Let me check. 0.043 for the Node Monkey, 0.039 for the Puppet.
So Node Monks jumped up because they were just at 0.04.
Did they?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, someone just came in and probably bought one, pushing the price. But gosh, dude, what are the frogs sitting at now, money wise? Because like I told Yagobi for so long, is like one of the main things, and I said this back in like 2023. I would love to give away a Bitcoin frog one day.
Yeah,
and
I think they were like $8,000.
Very possible. Yeah, they were, but now they're about $800, dude. That's crazy. Yeah, it's pretty wild. $800 for a frog, guys. And I don't see if there's any good looking ones here, because a lot of times, like, I don't want this ugly brown, one. This one's dope though. This green one
with the bubble gum.
Yeah, that's dope.
I like
I do like the orange background though.
Yeah, I like the what's his name, Messi. the soccer player jersey
Yeah.
one. I like
They're,
that
they're
one.
never on the floor though.
There's a Jordan one,
Is
but
that
like
it right there?
I just wish that
Jordan?
was like a red jersey.
I
You know what I
know.
mean?
Yeah.
If that was a red jersey, I would be way more dope.
Yeah, I agree. I like the hoodies too.
Yeah, the hoodies are dope.
Always dope. But yeah, dude, these are getting super cheap. The problem is, every single time I was like, I'm gonna get one of these, they dip lower, and I'm like, I'm gonna wait, and then I'm like, I'm gonna get one, but it's like we can be showing this next week. It could be $500 for these rocks. You know what I mean? Like,
Could be,
it's like,
man. Could be.
or like, could you see the No Monkeys at $1,000?
Dude, like, okay, so if No Monkeys gets 1,000, like, I'm buying multiple, and that means that the frogs are probably at like 300. I'm buying multiple.
Yeah.
1,000.
Yeah.
Wait,
No.
1,000. They might be less. They'll be like 100, right? 150.
I mean,
If No Monkeys are
keep
1,000,
driving,
so it'd be like 4 divided by whatever
yeah,
the price is now.
well, 250. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I'll buy 2 frogs for $500.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Like, the thing about those though, like the node monks and frogs, I'm telling you, the early inscription number is going to matter eventually.
Yeah.
And that's what makes me like, that's why I would pick node monks at these prices over puppets, just because I'm, big on that. Like in the bull run though, like bull run, it probably, you can get away with like just the community energy and stuff like that. OMB has the culture to it,
Yeah.
but the inscription number
dope,
always
though.
gets me. The early inscription number always gets me because I'm a collector of like cards and rare things and stuff like that.
I ain't gonna lie, dude. These white eye or black eyes look pretty damn cool. What do you think?
Yeah, what's the floor on them? So they're the floor,
It's like-
right?
Yeah, these are the floor.
Oh,
I
so
think
they're a
it's
little
like
bit
20
higher than I think we thought. Then, what are they?
Well,
$2,000?
Yeah, so they're $2,600, which 100%. I personally thought that
I thought maybe 1,500 or something. Like that. That's what I thought they were going to be at to start off with.
Well, I think these are just the early minters though. I kind of want to go check out the launch pad and see if it.
Oh, how many are left?
Yeah, I'm actually curious that. Where is the launch pad? Oh, there it is. There's a ton. So it's 72% minute out. You need a whitelist. So maybe people are just like, oh, I don't want to get home. But yeah, there's another 1,000 still to come on the market.
1,000?
So
and what's the mint price?
0.21, so 0.009 higher on the floor. So
09 higher. Oh man, they're
I'm
gonna
sorry, 0.009. So $900 higher than it is over here. So
they're gonna have to buy them up again.
They might,
right? Because like they're not gonna people like.
Well, the floor is higher than this. So.
Oh, so you're saying these? This is lower than the floor. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry,
that's fine.
That's what I
remember. That was the problem with the orange eyes. Is like the floor, people were just like flooring those just to kind of because they knew they could sell them for like multiple thousands of dollars if the mint price was 1 Bitcoin. That was the weirdest mint, and I was like, "There's no way they're gonna mint this out." Yeah. Obviously, they probably used maybe some treasury funds to do it. I don't know what exactly happened, but they got minted out. And I don't know,
dude. For 10 grand, you can walk with 1 Ordinal Maxi Biz, 1 puppet, and 1 No Monkey.
Okay. So like as much as like like whenever like you like this stuff that's really hot in the moment, kind of, which is great. I think that's great. There's downsides to that, there's upsides to that, and it's to get into like something that's hot early, right? But one of the things is that you've noticed that ordinals have been down for a minute.
Yeah,
but you cannot.
No, they've been just dropping every day.
Okay,
that's the problem.
That's what I meant. Like
only knife.
They've been like not as popular as before. But you have to admit, man, this is a value sector right now. Don't you think?
You need them to stabilize. So you can't come in here and buy these as they keep dropping. If we come look at it next week and they're 0.028, like you can't buy them yet. You need a couple weeks of stabilizing price. You need to find a bottom.
So you like, okay, let me ask you this though.
Yeah.
All right. And we don't know the future, but like, do you see node monks getting to like getting to $1,000? I can't see that.
I see them getting to about 1,800.
Wow.
I do.
I mean,
Well, to me, like again, I need about 2 weeks of around the same price. Maybe go up a little bit, maybe drop a little bit down, but around the same price, and that's when you buy. But to me, they're not going to go like this and then immediately pop up. That's not.
yeah.
They're going to come down and they're going to flourish for a little while.
I'm not worried about them, trying to get them like this and then wanting them to do that. I don't, because like for me, I'm more like, I don't want to sell this, like buy a node monk at like 3,700 and then sell it at like 4,700. You know what I mean? Even though that's a good profit, I know that's kind of like I would take
a trader's game.
I would take that, but I want, and I also don't want to get stuck in the mindset of trying to buy it at 3,700 and then sell it for what we sold ours at either, because that is like, at this price and stuff, it's a totally like, that's waiting too long, I think. But like it happened for us pretty quick, like within like 2-3 months, I think, right, to where we were able to get it at these prices and get out. But I would hold it for when Ordinals was back, at least, you know what I mean, to where like people are interested in art, NFTs and stuff like that, right? So I don't know. I feel like these are really good prices. I get where you're coming from in terms of like, okay, I could get it cheaper, but like it's kind of like
not about getting it cheaper. I don't want to buy a falling knife. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like I want you need to stabilize and let me know the floor is in.
Buying a falling knife though, like for node monks would mean that, like, or anything really, is that you're afraid that it's going to go to zero. Obviously not zero.
No,
exactly,
not zero.
But
I'm afraid
like,
that I'm not going to get the best price this month.
That's what I'm saying. Cheaper.
Yeah.
You want, that's what I said first, right? You want to be able to buy it cheaper. But for me, I feel like these are pretty discounted as is. And it goes back to kind of like the Bitcoin theory of like, oh, I want to buy it cheaper, and then you miss it or whatever, right? And then it jumps back up higher or whatever.
Yeah, but every single time you had multiple opportunities to get Bitcoin at the price that you wanted to get it at, and they always say out of it.
So they always say you get the price what you deserve. Well, I feel like Ordinals are kind of like that too.
I'm just saying that you're going to see at a point where these are going to hit a floor, come up a little bit, drop back down, hit a floor, and they're going to be like, oh wow, this was sitting around 2K for like a month now. That is when you buy, right? That is when you buy. Then that's when it is bottomed, right? If you buy it now, there's a really good chance. I mean, yesterday these things were
2 months is too long.
2 days.
I feel like maybe like 3-4 weeks of consistency is long enough.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. But like 2 months at that price would be a severe that. I mean, I would be 1,000,000% sure that was the bottom, right? Like, so it's just like, because you could have 2 weeks of sideways and then just another leg down. Right?
Yeah, the prices right now are definitely like shock and awe prices, right? Like you're looking at these and you're like, oh my god, like I didn't think these would get
last week.
That's what I'm saying. But like, so like, but it's still like shock and awe. So for you, you're kind of like, okay, well, damn, if last week they were this and this week they're this, then next week they'll probably be this. Especially with Bitcoin kind of being the way it's been, like the last couple days, it's like, where are these prices going to be next week? Now, if Bitcoin, let's say Bitcoin does this short squeeze, right? Let's just say, hypothetically, we get back to like 100K or something crazy, right? Probably won't happen, but let's just say it does. And then Ordinals are like ×2. Are you?
Well, that's not. See, that's the thing.
I know it doesn't. I know it doesn't correlate with it directly, but let's just say it does go ×2. Do you at that point, if it jumps up, do you say, okay, I'm gonna get them? They jumped up, or I think they're gonna go back.
So I guess my question would be, how long have they stabilized in price? Like, has it been 37 that if we look at it next week, it's like 30, 35, 37, and then a week after that, 35, 37, and then I would be like, okay, that was the fucking bottom and I missed it. Because it's stabilized for I just need it to stabilize. Like, I can't have next week come in here at 3,400, right? Like that would be like, okay, it hasn't found its bottom yet. Everything always finds its bottom. Like at Bitcoin at 16,000, you had like 4 weeks to scoop it up at between 16,000 and 17,000. You had like 4 weeks of that, right? But so I think the same thing happens to these assets as well. I think we do get a direct bottom where you'll know that that's the bottom. Yeah, and you might miss it. You might miss that exact bottom, but you might hit it. Like, I'd rather buy it at 37 after we found a bottom at like 32. You know.
Yep. But I will say though, it is pretty fun to start speculating on ordinals again. Like the cheap prices. It feels a little bit of excitement, right? Like in terms of, because we've known like what we have been able to, move these for in the past.
Yeah.
And the fact that they have pulled this far back, like to me, I'm still looking like I'm getting excited. And I'm trying to figure out what moves to make, but at the same time, you got to move stuff around, and that takes like a lot of effort. I mean, not a lot of effort, but you got to plan for it.
You got to wait a 50-minute block potentially, right? I mean, who knows, right? So it's like, yeah, but I'm actually looking at some of the lower stuff, honestly. Nat Cats at $664. I mean, damn. The frogs at 802. Like, I think I'd rather pick up a couple Nat Cats over a node monkey, or a couple, maybe a Nat Cat, a frog, and a bitmap, right?
What about base angels?
I've never been
Me neither.
I never been bullish on them, right? So it's like, but something like like I said, the Nat Cats, the frogs, the pandas. What are the pandas at these days? Right. So it's like,
I think they dropped. Obviously, like everything is dropped.
Everything dropped, but honey badger at $221.
So the honey badger one, to me, like the honey badger gets me, man, frustrated.
Yeah.
Like I have a sub 100K honey badger, and the ones that are not early inscriptions literally hold those back. They hold them back, man. And I hate that. I mean, I'm still going to hold it because I like the early inscriptions. I'm a collector and at heart, but I just wish that I mean, I can't change it, right? So I wish the collection was different.
All right, let's get into our next segment here, guys. We are lucky enough today to have the Block Runner. If you don't know who these guys are, you're living under a rock. These guys have been building metaverse for years and years. They cover the hottest stuff, from AI to everything that we do here. I mean, these guys were the inventors of DMT. These guys were the early bitmap guys. Absolutely so happy to have these guys here. But before we get to that, guys, we have 475 people watching live right now. Please, guys, smash that like for us, and please hit the subscribe if you're not subscribed. But let's get it. Let's bring in the Block Runner.
Let's do it.
Guys, welcome back to Order Revolution. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Yo, what's going on, guys?
Hello,
Happy to be here, man.
What's up? What's going on, lads?
What's up? What's up?
We're seeing a lot of red out there. What's going on?
Yeah, we're trying to figure out the same thing. But you guys had like a really big day yesterday, and so congratulations. With the event of the Nat token being the new incentive for miners, right? Could you kind of explain what that experience has been like? And before you do that, though, maybe explain to the audience what Nat is and what this whole new mechanism of it incentivizing miners is going to be like.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So in November 20th, 2023, we launched DMT, Digital Matter Theory. And it's it's a relatively kind of long story of like how we got there. But long story short, with the launch of this meta protocol, we launched the NAT token. So it stands for non-arbitrary tokens. And on that day, it meant that people had to inscribe this JSON into Bitcoin, and they have to figure out which block was not inscribed, and then grab that JSON, inscribe it into Bitcoin, and in 7 days it blocked out. So all 800,000 blocks were claimed, and then all of a sudden there was this bot that was claiming all the future blocks, and so it took us some time to think through is like, what is the best method to kind of distribute the NAT tokens in a way where it's fair, right? Continuously fair, because this token has no VC investment. There's no team allocation. There's no allocation for liquidity provisioning. There's nothing. It's just completely free and fair and open. And I think the highest holder count has like roughly 1% of the supply. So that's the highest someone has, right? Mm-hmm. So anyway, with the NAT redirect that we just all saw yesterday is essentially we decided to direct all future NAT tokens to any miner that mines Bitcoin. So if you successfully mine a Bitcoin, you also get that block's value in NAT tokens. And so yesterday there was a video that kind of explains the whole purpose of this, the whole kind of vision of the NAT token. So um, on this this Thursday on block 885588, which is a palindrome, that is going to be the first block the NAT token actually gets directed to the miner. So it's going to be on Thursday around 3 p.m. Central Time, roughly. That's when we think that block will mine. And now miners are going to be collecting the NAT token. So the real question is, well, why do that? Like, what is the purpose of this? So if you look at the narrative for Bitcoin today, it's a store of value. So as a store of value, that means countries, companies, individuals like us, we would acquire this asset and hold it, right? That's the whole point, right? So if we hold this asset, that means that nobody's generally going to be using this asset to perform transactions on average. So that means that it's a low velocity, token. Low velocity means no transaction fees. And without any transaction fees, there's not an incentive to continue mining Bitcoin post that the subsidy. So with the NAT token, it's produced every single block indefinitely, well after the year 2140, and that is supposed to contribute to sustaining the security of Bitcoin in the long term.
Yeah, that's like mission alignment ethos. I think that we're kind of like prototyping with NAT token itself, which originated as a demo token of just essentially how to deploy a non-arbitrary token, which is a framework that also encompasses like, non-fungibles as well, right? Like NAT cats and royals and stuff. Like there's a framework where you can issue these as fungibles and non-fungibles, right? So there's an entire ecosystem underpinned around this protocol where it's not just, a mimetic type of coin. Like you can actually create art, you can create assets of all a different, variety of different application, just like you can with, most other token protocols on Ethereum or even Ordinals itself, whatever, right? It's just the uniqueness to this. The novelty here is the leveraging of Bitcoin's data substrate layer, which hasn't really been systemically applied yet. There's a lot of different creators starting to hone in and understand like this is Bitcoin's unique value proposition that no other chain can kind of present this same opportunity, right? Because of the thermodynamic properties of Bitcoin itself, proof of work as like this energy aggregation mechanism is what gives that substrate layer that immutability, that the way to transfer that energy into something of like intrinsic value in the digital space. So for us as metaverse developers, it makes a lot of sense because we spent a lot of years essentially spawning things out of thin air in the metaverse, just like everybody spawned shit coins out of thin air. And I think the market is starting to kind of get to the point where you feel the saturation of that. Like you feel like we've diluted the fuck out of our own purpose. We've issued too much of this arbitrary nonsense to where we've abstracted away any sensible value derivation. Like we've lost our grounding.
Yeah,
right?
and the industry itself also gaslit itself, thinking that all we need to do is launch a bunch of shit coins without any utility.
Yeah, for the sake of squiggly line go up.
Yeah,
and we did that. We ran that experiment, and it kind of exhausted itself. So, and from our point of view, our perspective, this is prime conditions. This is the exact scenario we imagined would happen. Is like the arbitrary era of cryptos would kind of exhaust itself, literally phase itself out in like the most dramatic fashion, which is we're witnessing that today, in order for a non-arbitrary era to kind of like take its place, right? So that is kind of what we feel like is happening in real time.
Yeah, I think that was perfectly explained. I mean, I've told you guys several times that I think that the DMT approach is very eloquent, and just the approach of it, right? The funny thing that you just mentioned was like, this endless creation of meme tokens and stuff that's become a part of our industry now is the exact opposite of what why Bitcoin was created, right? Is to defeat the money printers, and we're actually printing like an endless supply of these tokens, right? So the non-arbitrary token effect, I think, would be amazing if it gets mass adopted, right? But I want to go back to the miner incentive. Is the amount of NAT tokens that is given to the winning address of the block, is it still going to be dependent upon the element that's related to the NAT token, or is there a certain amount that's given to each block owner?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, so the NAT every single DMT deployment, NAT cats or NAT tokens or the Royals or anything like that, they use this idea of an element, and the element is just a fancy way to describe a pattern on Bitcoin. And so if you find this pattern on Bitcoin, you can inscribe it as an element, and then deployers like EV for NatCats can use that element to deploy ARD or a fungible token that has a non-arbitrary supply. So we have this concept of elements, right? Patterns. So the NAT token is the same thing, right? So we use the first element, which is called, I think, NAT, or no, it's called DMT. I don't even remember the first element anymore.
I think it's DMT.
Yeah, DMT.
It's
It's
been a while.
called so
It's been a
so
while.
you can actually name elements in the same way that we discovered hydrogen and we gave it its name, hydrogen. It's the same kind of concept. So this element is called DMT, right? And DMT points to a specific field on Bitcoin called the bits field. And the bits field is just a numeric representation of the difficulty adjustment on Bitcoin. And so that difficulty adjustment is a numeric number. It's also a hex value, but you can convert it to a numeric value. So every block has a bits field, therefore it has a number that represents the difficulty of that specific 2-week period. So anyway, now that we have the NAT token completely blocked out, and now it's being directed to the miners starting this Thursday. That means that whatever block is mined has a bits value, and that bits value is turned into NAT tokens, and that NAT token is directed to the miner. And so every 2 weeks, that means that there's a difficulty adjustment. So it either gets easier to mine or harder to mine, but on average, it's always gotten harder to mine. And so the interesting thing about DMT is that we're leveraging the properties of Bitcoin. So what's a property? So kind of like mass has a property such as gravity, right? Gravity is a property of mass. Bitcoin's fields also have properties. So the property of the bits field means that when hash power goes up, the number of the bits field goes down. And so you play this out into the future. Hopefully, Bitcoin continues to have higher security, meaning more hash power. And therefore, the NAT's value goes down every single block, right, for 2-week periods. And so there's an inverse relationship, and that is a property of the bits field. So yes, it's using this specific pattern on Bitcoin. It's using the entire bits field as the pattern, and every single block, the miners are collecting the NAT tokens, and hopefully they wake up and start participating in the ecosystem once we reach a reasonable market cap that pings their attention. We presume, at least.
Yeah, man. So you're basically saying, let's just say, like Foundry won the last block, right? And then via BTC won the previous block. So these guys, whatever wallet is getting these tokens is also going to receive NAT. So if you grab their wallet address that's receiving the reward, you go to Benny's, I think it's track.network, and you pop that in there, you actually see the NAT tokens in each one of these wallets.
100%. Yeah, if you don't mind, go to natgmi.com, and that's the website where you'll be. It's much easier to track how much miners have been actually accumulating the NAT token for mining, and so you'll be able to click on each block just like mempool, and then you'll be able to see the entire.
Oh
balance.
wow!
You can't see it today because
it's not active.
It's not active yet, but on Thursday around 3 p.m., hopefully, block 8885588 is the first block that's going to get directed to the miners.
Yeah, so like you saying, you click on the miners underneath each block, it'll give you like the individual, activity history, I guess, of what's been allocated over time. And of course, the big thing will be kind of like, or the community will be looking for, is when one of these miners' balances changes, right? Meaning like, oh, there's been like a transfer inscription.
Correct.
That likely means a miner has like realized the value of this token and is now like, interacting with it, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the point of this like interface, at least, to keep a real hawk eye over what's happening with this token.
And it might take years for them to realize, or even months or whatever it is, to realize the tokens are there, which benefits the actual holders of NAT tokens now because the inflation kind of stops for that amount of time. Obviously, it can come back, or it may never come back, right? Because these miners might not, spend the time to kind of figure this out. I think they do. I think eventually in the future, they're like, okay, we got like 100 grand of this token. Like, let's do something about this. Or they might decide to build here to actually add value to that token.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is kind of like a unique thing. So throughout our history in our podcast, we've always seen new chains form, and our thesis has not changed thus far. And our thesis is like, what with this new change, what could you do in this new chain that cannot be done anywhere else? And when we discovered Ordinals, we thought Ordinals was a very unique thing, like NFTs on Bitcoin. Like that's kind of new, right? But we've seen pictures on chain before, right? Yeah, they're inscriptions, they're a little bit different, but nonetheless, it's a picture, within that network, and it's fungible tokens within that network. But DMT represents actually something new that can only be done on this and can't be done anywhere else. And so we feel like, yeah, this might take a while, maybe years, or maybe it takes off and becomes a competitor to Doge, right, in terms of market cap. But nonetheless, it is something fundamentally new that has not existed in crypto before. And I think that's why we maintain our energy with it, because it is that interesting.
Yeah. And it's an experiment, I think, in like the dynamics of the market itself, leveraging like the velocity of like mimetic properties of these, coins that can be perceived as meme coins. I mean, this one obviously can fit within that category. Doesn't have any like real direct utility other than like its distribution to like, as a second subsidy in the Bitcoin network. But other than that, it's really just a token that's up in the air for an interpretation of value, just like Bitcoin was in its early days, right? It's just, it's some new digital vehicle where you can append value to it, right?
Yeah.
So, but this token has that similar alignment to Bitcoin, right? Where it's the ultimate purpose and mission of it through this new market discovery of value is to, further enhance the security of Bitcoin, which today people might not think is like that big of a deal because, Bitcoin is Bitcoin, but over time, this becomes an actual problem, right? That people will be aware of. Especially if like the ecosystem of Bitcoin doesn't ever find its legs, which we don't think is going to be the case. At some point, it's going to happen, whether it's Ordinals or something else. We don't know yet.
Right.
We're like in the process of figuring that out. But nonetheless, we need to start now figuring out new solutions to contribute to that, the sustainability of the Bitcoin network, right? In the long term.
Yeah. I also want to add one more thing. In the context of directing this NAT token to the miners, this isn't a unique thing to NAT. It is a function that Tap and Benny and the team have put together, that if you guys decide to launch a token and you want to direct future tokens to liquidity providers on Taproot Swap, you could do that. Or let's say you want to direct future tokens to anyone holding a parcel on Bitmap. You could also do that. And so we're showcasing a new function of the TAP protocol. That's really what this is. And we're leveraging that function in a way that optimizes the potential of the NAT token by directing it to the miners. So hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, it definitely does. I would say that, like, this whole initiative, I think is really cool and important. But I also think that, like, for there to be like a strong impact and level of success, the miners will eventually have to participate. It won't be necessarily in the very beginning. So do you guys have like an initiative to kind of educate the miners, maybe like, connect with some miner groups or anything like that? Do you have anything like that planned?
Yeah. So when I don't know who came up with this idea. I think it was through a conversation with a miner where they were discussing directing future tokens to miners, and we're like, well, why don't we apply this to the NAT token? And so we've had conversations with miners in regards to this, and they're from a technical standpoint, from like a tokenomic standpoint, that they're on board, right? To them, it makes sense because they see the problems. No one's really talking about it, but they know that this is going to be a problem, right? We've seen the mempool be empty. right? So
Yeah.
that's an issue. So we are looking to communicate with miners to let them know that this is happening, because if nobody reaches out to them, it could be years before they know about it.
Yeah, I'm under the assumption that miners are financially motivated, as they have
Sure.
to be in order to like survive in that highly competitive like ecosystem, right? So I think initially, like, of course, we can achieve certain grassroots like market movements, like in absence of miner participation, just pure community, pure like Bitcoin ecosystem. Like we need to discover something native to Bitcoin that can actually be a flagship product to showcase that something of substance can actually exist on this chain that can attract a lot of mind share and a lot of liquidity in this direction. Like Nat is that perfect vehicle, right?
Yeah.
So we've seen tokens in this category of what the product of a token, a meme coin, whatever you want to label it. It could reach these 1 to 10 to $50 billion market cap range, and that is sufficient as far as like at $1 billion market cap, this token, I think, supplies per block, it would be like $1,200 in that subsidy, right? So extrapolate from there, 10 billion market cap, we're talking 12,000, and it goes up from there and there and there. And like now you're starting to reach like significant contribution and almost in parity with what Bitcoin subsidy will enable for these miners. So it's I think you've got to like kind of go through this growth phase and phases, much more community and grassroots in the beginning stage, getting to the point where it's almost like a no-brainer for miners to really, pick up the torch from that point, because it's in their favor to.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. 100%.
Almost like they won't be able to sustain themselves in difficult periods, which we know happens. Right.
Yeah. And this is not to suggest that the NAT token is sufficient to providing, additional liquidity to the miners.
Yeah. It's
to increase security, right? It's not sufficient. And so again, if there's a creator out there that could, let's say, do a better job than us, marketing or whatever, just a better meme, and they want to direct that to the miners after a blockout, they can also do that as well. Correct. Right. Yeah. So this could be, another form of a meta that, once a community has, the 100% of the supply, the future supply could be directed to miners in addition to the NAT token.
Yeah, that's critical for the. Yeah. Go ahead, Chizzy.
No, I was just going to say, like, it kind of like baffles me, the reason that, like, why they're not building here yet. Like, if I was a miner, you're incentivized, especially if you do it as a group of miners, right? And the only thing I can really think of is regulation. So a lot of these miners are, publicly traded companies, so, and then the other ones want to be publicly traded companies, and we don't have the regulation here yet. So that's like the only reason I can't see them doing it. Because, like, for me, I would love to buy a Mara NFT that earns Bitcoin, right? Maybe they, with the proceeds of that NFT or that ordinal, they take that and they buy miners with it, and then you're actually earning by them actually giving you. They take a piece of it, of course, but I come back 9 months later and I have a whole bunch of Satoshis sitting in that same wallet that I'm just earning. And what that does is that creates transactions, which creates fees, right? And if ever to say every single miner has some type of project, I mean, the mempool will never be emptied ever again.
I think there's two reasons why. Number one, marketing. Like, I don't think there's strong enough marketing to the miners. Like, let's say, like at the Bitcoin conference on Miner Day, which is, I think that's Industry Day, right? Like, whenever basically you go. And two, no one has offered them directly like an additional subsidy. Like, this is the first one, other than like, saying, oh, the mempool sats per VBIT are very high, the miners are happy. I don't think they have time to be like, oh shit, like, like Ordinals are kicking ass for us. You know what I mean? I think that, like, they don't think about it that way. But if you were to market to them and really kind of have this conversation at their level, because they're not like us, like in that sense, they're like really kind of like run the software, our miners with the energy costs, balance out, we've got a profit. That's their mindset. They're very kind of like almost engineer like type of mindset, right? But if you're telling them, hey, look, you can additionally get this, like this subsidy and maybe more, so it would behoove you and the miner community to support infrastructure for these fungibles, because it's going to increase your profit bottom line. I think that would be the most effective approach, but maybe I'm wrong.
No, I totally agree. Yeah. I think once this is a talking point, and maybe the next cycle when when Bitcoin halves again to like 1.6 Bitcoin per block, now then I think this conversation is going to start to kind of bubble up, and it's going to occur more often. And I think that's when the Bitcoin miners start participating in like the community like discussions. Because right now all they're doing is raising funds, and they're using that funds to buy miners so that they have a bigger pool in terms of like how much Bitcoin they earn. But that music eventually will stop, right? And so they need to figure out other ways, and they are right now. There's some miners who are coming up with different business models that allow any one of us to pay them to mine particular transactions privately. So they don't necessarily, they take your transaction, they don't necessarily propagate it to the public mempool. They just mine it themselves. And if you get lucky, meaning they mine a block, your transaction's in there, and it prevents from sniping and all kinds of stuff, right? So they are coming up with different business models, but it's interesting that they have to come up with different business models, right? And so this is slowly going to propagate into a bigger discussion issue.
Yeah, 100%. And one thing about Nat that you can say one huge thing about it, right, is that it's on Taproot swap, meaning that it's liquid, and you guys can potentially just buy the swap. You don't got to go to an order book like how we are trading now. Let me actually show my screen here. So if you guys go to taprootswap.com and click these little boxes, can they make these boxes any smaller? I mean,
Yeah,
right. But it's one of the few tokens that actually has liquidity. You have USDT, you have Bitcoin, and then you have what's the other one? And
Nat?
of course, it doesn't come up. Yeah, well, it's Nat, Bitcoin, and Tap, right?
Do you have
Yeah.
your
It's
do you have
working now.
your okay.
So
this
yeah,
was
so
yeah, this was something real quick. I want to say this was something I was thinking about, because like liquidity, providing liquidity in the Bitcoin ecosystem isn't the easiest thing right now, no matter like what DEX is putting things out there. But I feel like if there was a great group or a company entity that has good messaging to the miner community, then it would probably, be beneficial for them to add liquidity to Nat, and then the mining community would know about it, and that would it like basically excite the miners and be like, okay, look, we get this Nat, we can go in and out whenever we want to, or we'll save it up to a certain amount. And I think that could be a good way to really encourage liquidity. But I think the person or entity that would have to do that would have to really be like a part of this mission and narrative to educate the miners.
Yeah. So we can only do so much, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to encourage people to supply liquidity here at Taproot Swap. We're also going to be allocating all revenue from purchases of parcels for the Natrix to supplying liquidity here at Taproot Swap as well. And the whole idea is that we've had conversations with exchanges, and they want to see volume, right? And so as long as they see volume, they're more inclined to list this token. And so the only way to really showcase some volume is by having a DEX, be that. And so we're lucky that we happen to build this technology on top of Tap, and they built Taproot Swap, which is a DEX on Bitcoin. So we can actually take advantage of this, and we're uniquely positioned to take advantage of this. So so eventually, once the NAT is being directed to the miners, we'll push this campaign, and hopefully we get a lot of people interested enough to contribute to getting this thing listed to exchanges.
Yeah, that essentially is like our grand task for the rest of I would say this year specifically, but probably as long as we're alive, is to continue to not just funnel interest and liquidity into Nat's direction. Yeah, most optimally on Taproot Swap in these early stages. But of course, this token needs its access and presence beyond, but it makes most sense to really focus and concentrate that native to Bitcoin. So Taproot is the perfect platform for that. But yeah, it's you're right. It's an educational process. So we got to really amplify our roadshow presence. We actually need to start going, like you're saying, meet these miners.
Yeah.
Luckily Fitzy's out there traveling the earth and speaking on our behalf and DMT pilling people, and he's been telling us it's been going great.
Yeah.
Like he's been having conversations with very notable people, very influential people, and they were like, holy shit, this is actually something new, which is like rare in this space in this day and age, right? There's almost nothing new, no real like innovations kind of like spawning anymore. That's like, potentially something inspiring. Like I think that's what the space is missing a lot, is that the soul of what crypto represents, right? So yeah, so we have to do that individually. And yeah, we're gonna open like our own channel to like sponsors and stuff like that, which we've never done before in the past.
You have it.
No, we don't. We don't have any sponsors, but we're gonna open that opportunity up as our channel continues to grow, as we cover the whole space, and then funnel that to liquidity for Nat as well.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a great plan.
Yeah.
The whole, I think the DMT meta protocol is really, I think that there has been a lot of the space, like the Bitcoin ecosystem, has shown appreciation to it, but I think it's also been a bit undervalued, and maybe I feel like that lately, because everything in the ecosystem has been kind of, just kind of the secondary to the rest of the crypto space. I would say the last 3 to 6 months. But I think once people understand, how it works and everything, at least the nerdy people will really get excited about it. I was when I first heard about it. So super excited about that. But besides the Nat token, which obviously that was a big event, and super excited for how that goes. What else is kind of new within DMT, like with the Natrix and things like that? Is there anything else to kind of look forward to within the ecosystem itself?
Yeah, so there's always like house cleaning activities that we have to do. So right now, the way that the meta protocol works, it's basically adjacent, which is kind of what you want for something like Bitcoin. You want things small and efficient. But that means that with the traditional way to render these assets, like you basically see adjacent. And so there is a way to actually render this stuff on chain. It's called recursive rendering. But it doesn't show up on your wallet. It doesn't show up on like traditional marketplaces that don't have like this recognition of this meta protocol. So there is an update that is coming eventually where new deployments of art, let's say for example, someone decides to deploy art on using DMT, they will be natively rendered inside your wallet. So that is going to be coming pretty soon here. And then eventually, we're going to try to focus kind of like a better user experience with using like what Tap is pioneering with co-processing, right, with ICP. And so we're going to be leveraging that technology pretty soon as well. So we're just updating our systems and mScribe specifically, just so that people have a better user experience. And then on top of that, we have a ton of AI implementation to do with Bitmap OS. And so you'll be able to chat with an AI to actually build an MML document for your parcel. So a lot of stuff is in development. So we're getting through as much as we can. But yeah, those are our main focuses at the moment.
Awesome. Love it.
Yeah, man. I just have one question about Nat before we move on. So the biggest problem with Taproot Swap, in my opinion, is these APRs, right? Right now for the Nat, it's 0.54. I'm guessing you're just earning the Bitcoin fees that people are trading.
Right.
What do you think Taproot Swap can do to get this up? So for me, like, there's no reason for me to supply liquidities, because I'm risking because of permanent loss, right? But I'm not getting nothing for that. Have you guys talked to Taproot Swap? Is there anything coming in? Maybe you guys can talk about or anything like that?
Yeah, I think they have a campaign right now that they are issuing tap tokens for liquidity providers, I believe. I need to look into it a little bit more, but they are always discussing ways to kind of incentivize liquidity provisioning. The only challenge with that is we've seen this play out in different ecosystems, and it's just not long-term sustainable. So that's like ultimately the issue with this, because as soon as that incentive goes away, let's say like it runs out of the tokens, then people unstake, and then then you have less liquidity again. So yeah, that is like a natural kind of consequence of doing DeFi on Bitcoin, is that there isn't like an obvious way to incentivize liquidity provisioning, but it is a primitive for any ecosystem, right? So you need to have these things, but figuring out how to incentivize, like, that's a different kind of challenge.
Yeah, it's something we've thought about a lot, like just trying to, because building in the Bitcoin space, it's like you're in a perpetual scenario where you have to like innovate or come up with like interesting solutions to really big problems, right? Because when we started our builder journey on on Ethereum, a lot of these like core infrastructure problems like liquidity provisioning and all these on-chain DeFi tools were already kind of like settled, and the ecosystem was at a mature state to where us app developers, we didn't really have to worry about that kind of stuff. We could just kind of build using it, and there was quite the boom as a result of that. So the current state of the Bitcoin ecosystem hasn't really figured out that maturity stage yet. So we have to constantly think about new like iterations of how we can add new layers of incentives potentially, right? Maybe it's something more metaverse focused, who knows? Right, we have some unique angles we can contribute as far as like new incentive models, but they haven't been like fully executed yet. And whenever they do, they're going to be experimental, so we don't even know if people will actually like see value in that. And like nonetheless, these experiments have to play out in order to figure out, because you're right, this is one of the biggest cruxes of the issues in the Bitcoin space, right? Like, how do we resolve this liquidity dilemma, right? And it's gotten to the point where it's shifting people away from our space, right? They're going full port to Solana and stuff like that, right?
Yeah. In addition, because Taproot Swap exists now, we have the ability to do things like leverage bonding curves, right? So bonding curves is like synonymous to like memes and stuff, but what actually is a viability test. And so if your token, your DMT launch, for example, reaches a given market cap, let's say 100,000, that means it's viable. And so you could take the fees there, supply liquidity at Taproot Swap, and at least have that token, be viable within the market, right? And so that's something that we're uniquely positioned to take advantage of as well. And so we're focusing on like solving these liquidity issues with different mechanisms that allow us to supply liquidity for these tokens automatically. And so so these are the kinds of things that we're thinking about, and we're kind of game planning to implement. And but definitely it's not easy building in the Bitcoin ecosystem, just because everything is so underdeveloped.
Right.
Yeah. Underdeveloped and fragmented in a there's no like living liquidity. Taproot Swap has a little bit. Some of these centralized dexes have some as well, but the fragmentation is definitely there. But I agree with you guys. The infrastructure needs to mature. But I will say this though, that there's this like passion or very strong want to make the ecosystem work, right? And I really hope that continues until it does. But also I hope that for everybody that's listening, we got 550 people listening in right now, and I hope that people can open your mind a bit, even if a standard isn't something that you have in your bag or something like that. Just open your mind in the sense of like, how could maybe multiple communities work together to make the overall ecosystem better. I know that's probably like a severely optimistic viewpoint for our ecosystem, but I hope that we can get there.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right. I mean, even Tap, they're working with runes, and they're integrating runes and kind of like bringing in that community. Because from the beginning, when we saw Benny and what he was building, we knew that focusing on developers and creating a developer environment around Bitcoin was the thing to work on. That's why we were so early to Tap, because we needed some level of infrastructure. Right? There's no way you're going to ask every single developer that builds on Bitcoin to be its own indexer every single time, right? It's not going to happen. So so we knew what Benny was providing, and we just happened to come up with something that we thought was interesting. Bitmap, super interesting, like in the context of the metaverse. And so yeah, I think it is a function of like leveraging all these like different pieces of technology, like runes and rare sats, and like creating a good story that makes sense, right? I think that should be the challenge for creators right now. That the challenge right now is like, who can create like the most hilarious meme. And that's a different kind of challenge. It's just not one that's going to be long-term sustainable.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Yeah, but who knows what happens in the future, right? I mean, potentially Tap could create an awesome meme and then give that, and then let's just say only the people who supply liquidity get it. That'd be really cool, right?
Yeah.
Like I would love something, even something like that. Just I just want a reason to do it, right? But we're having you guys here, and you guys are some of the earliest Tau talkers, right? So I would kill myself if I didn't at least ask you guys about what you guys think about what's going on Tau right now. If you go to YouTube and you type in DTAU, only you guys and Crypto Empire. It's the only two channels that really pop up. You do have the block mates as well. But I'm curious what you guys think about what is going on over there on Tau. So this is taustats.io, and this is the subnets. I've been really digging into this because it's really interesting to me. But I'm curious your opinions on it.
Yeah, Bittensor has always been interesting to us since we discovered it. Like, I don't know, or somebody in our comments section was like, "You guys should check this out."
You know what? The reason we had people in the comment section talk to us about Bittensor is because we were postulating a thing that Bittensor was without knowing that Bittensor existed, and they're like, "Dude, you guys are talking about Bittensor," and so we had to look into it.
Yeah, it's that whole the big bad wolf narrative, right? Like, us metaverse developers, we understand like, the open metaverse ecosystem has some real implications, right? If the metaverse is going to become like our future, internet immersive layer, decentralizing as many aspects as of that as possible is like the most optimal, result, right? So, there needs to be some sort of Web3 renaissance around developing for the metaverse, right? So that the big bad wolf being, Meta in that context, you don't want a single company, single entity having that much control over something as, ubiquitous as like the 3D web, right? And that is going to be our future if like Web3 doesn't figure something out. And so we're like, okay, AI, same situation, like something even potentially more dire consequence wise if we have everything hyper localized, centralized into a handful of entities. You're running major risks. So it's like crypto has always had this cypherpunk like roots to it, is to kind of like disrupt those forces in our society and to kind of like distribute those impacts and through the network effect of crypto itself, right? So Bittensor, once we looked into the tokenomics, it's like they're replicating what Bitcoin did. It's like Bitcoin proved with its like tokenomics model that it can aggregate the most like powerful computing network on the planet, but for a different purpose, right? So just replicate that, repurpose it for this distributed AI network where each subnet is performing its own hyper specialized task. It's like, dude, sounds brilliant,
right?
But it comes with a lot of different complexities that Bitcoin does not, right? There's all kinds of different issues when it comes to determining, which of these subnets are actually performant or not, right? So the detail made a lot of sense to us. It's like, now let's decentralize that decision making. Now the market is like the governing force to determine which of these subnets. So you just had the screen open with all the subnets. The ones at the top, the market is declaring these are the most valuable, right? So as a result of that, people are voting with their money, right? With their Tau. So these are the subnets that are earning the most Tau emissions. So like, in essence, in the parallel to Bitcoin's world, these are the top miners, right? These are the top extractors of Bitcoin because, they're not just providing core hardware and infrastructure, they're providing services for other AI developers. And in Shoot's case, we really like that subnet because based on metrics we've seen, they're like competitive with like Web 2 infrastructure.
Yeah, 100%.
Which is not like an easy thing to do, especially when you understand like how much fucking money is being thrown at Web 2 AI companies. It's like astronomical the amount of money that's being funneled.
We're seeing seed rounds at 900 million.
Yeah, I saw.
That's crazy.
Seed round for like an AI company.
Well, I think that's the difference between TradFi not really participating heavily in crypto, and hopefully in the near future maybe they do bring like that investment energy to Web3 for some projects over here. But I think that's the biggest difference, really. Like you see those Silicon Valley companies get so much crazy money, and some of them don't even roll out a product, right? And so hopefully that eventually happens over here. But is there a subnet that is dedicated to the Bitcoin ecosystem that you guys know about? Because I know some of these subnets are working in different chains. Like Cato has their Yaps, and I think they launched their token on like Base. Is there any subnets that you guys know of that are working in the Bitcoin ecosystem?
Not specifically, but I know that there's a cost associated to becoming a subnet, and it's sort of like the cost goes like, I think every, I don't know, I want to say like 64 blocks that there's a potential new subnet that can be added, and the cost goes down as time goes on. And then if you're willing to pay that cost, you can be that next subnet. So that's like part of like kind of like the friction here to becoming a subnet. But once you're a subnet, then you have to elicit enough people to stake their Tau onto your subnet. So is there one on Bitcoin? I thought I saw one, but I can't remember the name. I don't think there is one.
I don't know if super fans in the audience right now, but
yeah, he actually commented.
Oh, did he?
Says he hates that Bittensor is such a hardcore pay to play, because like
exactly.
I get where he's coming from. 200K. So it would seem that like a lot of the teams have pre-raised before they create a subnet, right? And we all know Superfan is really talented and everything that he's been working on with Big Noodle and all that stuff. But I see that. But the one thing I don't get though is like if you're paying 200K to create a subnet and you get people to stake Tau into your subnet, and for example, let's talk about Cato, right? And I'm staking in Cato, let's just say hypothetically, and I see that the market cap is like 1.2 million. Now, Cato's been working on like their social fi aspect with the Yaps, and they launched a token on Base, and now that token has a market cap of 400 million, right? So to me, like I feel like I'm missing something here, because like if I'm not benefiting by staking into Cato's Open Cato, which is the subnet for Cato, but someone that like bought or got into Cato Yaps at like 100 million, they have a 4x, or like 50 million, they have a 8x or whatever. Like, I'd rather be in that token from a monetary standpoint. What am I missing here, do you feel like?
Well, I think when these subnets launched, they launched with a liquidity pool, right? One Tau, one alpha token. That meant specifically that each of the subnets were worth $3 billion in market cap.
Fully diluted,
right? So that meant that anyone who bought at that time, basically bought at the top, because none of the subnets are worth 3 billion. So the idea to find a subnet that has a lower valuation, you want to get in at a low valuation, because you are earning more alpha tokens compared to the Tau that you'd be earning. So that, I think that is like the driving motivation to find, a valuable subnet like Shoots, right?
Because the emissions are higher, like one of the highest percentage, so you're gonna get more by staking it, and you're basically betting that like once everything stabilizes within the subnet ecosystem, that the successful ones, their market cap will reflect accordingly, and you have earned all those tokens at that point.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what's difficult to understand about Bittensor, is like it's a different model, only because they're trying to incentivize a way for the community to discover what is valuable and what isn't, right? And so the way that you do that is by allowing the community to stake their Tau in what they think is valuable and what they think is going to have a higher market cap in the future, because they are producing some sort of value to the AI ecosystem.
Yeah, 100%. And from my understanding, you can get Tau 3 different ways, right? You get it from staking it into, into root to get Tau, or one of these to get the alpha token of that specific subnet. Proof of intelligence, which basically you do like jobs and stuff like that. You can get paid that way. And then proof of compute, which is basically like mining it. You're actually feeding these subnets compute so they can kind of do their thing, and you're actually earning tau, but that tau actually automatically buys into the pool and gets you the alpha token itself. Am I right on that? The way I got it?
Yeah. So what's interesting about each of these subnets is that mining could mean pretty much anything that you want. It doesn't
Okay.
have to be necessarily compute. So so that's kind of like the other unique thing, is that you can kind of design your subnet to be specific to your use case. So like if your use case is the metaverse, is like mining could be just hosting the metaverse by itself, right? That could be the form of mining in the context of like the definitions, right? So so that's what's kind of like different, right? That we have to as a subnet, you have to design like your validators, your miners, and then you could also incentivize stakers through other tokens as well. So
yeah.
like you could do pretty much anything you want to become a higher valued subnet.
Yeah, and I guess that's one of the question marks, like the pure between the purists of the Tau community who, they understand the implications of like what's at stake for Bittensor whenever, again, like the big bad wolf positioning of what Bittensor represents versus, the open AIs of the world and stuff like that. There's something that they want to preserve, I guess, that angle of seriousness, right? By not injecting too much like crypto degeneracy into like the equation, right? But
yeah, there is a kind of like a degen subnet, right? What's it called? Like
Yeah.
LOL.
LOL.
LOL, yeah.
exactly. That's
So they spent like essentially 200 grand to be that subnet, which of course you could do that. And
yeah. So the question is like, where's that balance, right? Because you had to understand the market we're in, right? Like it is a degen governed market essentially, right?
Yeah.
You got to build the right product that fits that market. At the end of the day, you could build this like super intelligent system, but the demographic of people who actually participate and partake in this day and age, they're degens at the end of the day. So if you don't leverage and utilize the tools like the EVM integration that they've recently brought into their ecosystem and create these new incentive models and stuff around that, you're going to upset like the purists within the community, right? But you're going to attract the actual users of like the Web3 ecosystem, right? So that is like the balance that they have to discover over the next like 6 to 12 months, I think.
Yeah,
One of the
but
few tokens up, which is
Yeah.
funny, is the meme coin.
this ecosystem, I think, is the perfect transition for TradFi, though, right? Because like if they're the ones that can really deploy some serious mean capital into something like the subnets that like these companies paid $200,000 to establish themselves as a subnet. Okay, so they already take them more seriously than your typical crypto project, right? Because there's still that barrier of a traditional investor coming into crypto. I mean, let's be honest, there's still that barrier, and I don't know when that's going to cross over because we didn't do ourselves any favors by the past like 3 months of Solana, right? So my whole point is that like that's where I think the tipping point can be, but like they gotta be able to see it. They need to be educated on it, and we'll see if that happens. So.
Yeah, I think the TradFi, they're gonna have an interesting time, kind of like adopting to what this is, because there's a lot of complexities that I feel like it conflicts with a lot of their business models, for example. But nonetheless, I feel like the reason why we're in crypto is because we feel like the whole world is going to be transitioning to blockchain technologies in one way or another. And now with like the administration sort of adopting to Bitcoin and all that stuff is just like the first signal. But yeah, ultimately it is going to be interesting how TradFi kind of adjusts to what this is, because typically in TradFi, like at 4 p.m., like the doors close and like you can go to sleep and there's nothing to worry about. In crypto, it's not that. I mean, you get red chips in the middle of the night.
Happened last night, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Rough night.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is funny though that this token was one of the few ones all the way up. I actually bought some. I actually
Of
bought
course you did.
every
Of course you
I
did.
bought every subnet.
He hates
I
memes
put
though, right, guys? I'm just kidding.
I didn't even know what it was. So I was like, I don't know what to do here. So I'm just gonna do an index fund. I'm just gonna put 0.15 into everything, right? I don't care. And what I'm noticing too is I'm earning, and I'm doing the math every day. I have a spreadsheet where I see the number of tokens I have this day, this day.
Yeah.
I'm actually earning 0.015% every day on every single token. Some are higher, some are lower, but it averages out to about 0.015 every day. So I did the math. It's about 300% APY on these tokens. So I'm actually really enjoying that. Yeah, the prices have been going down on it, but every day I wake up and I have more tokens. I'm curious of your opinions on that.
So which tokens are you acquiring? You're talking about more Tau, right?
I'm talking about
he's talking about
the
subnets. He's
yeah.
doing
I'll show you. So if you go into here, right, and then you go into stake, that'll take you to this page, and it'll actually show you all of your tokens. Let me sign in real quick.
Mhm.
But yeah, so I do like how on Tau Stats you can sign in with your Google, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
sounds very Web 2 like, but that's
Well, I mean, that's
starting
what
to be
you're trying to do, right?
Yeah.
So
No, I'm not against it. I like convenience more than
There's
anybody.
also a way to log in with like an anonymous like pin as well.
Yeah,
oh, is there?
I thought that
Oh, yeah.
was
there
interesting.
is. Yeah, that's all that.
So just give me one more second. Just gotta sign my wallet here, and I can bring this up. All right. So if you look here, right, I have it tells my token amount. I have 32 Apex, 46 Omron, or I basically have every token, and this is the number. Every single day I check this, it's higher. Every day.
I mean, that's how it's supposed to work, right?
Well, I'm just saying. It's just that it shows up. I don't have to go claim anything like that. It just kind of shows up. I didn't buy this many, but it's been over a week now, and I've gained probably closer to 2 Apex, and stuff like that. So, like I said, I have a spreadsheet every day around the same time. I go in and just track the amount of tokens, and every single day, there's more and more tokens here.
Nice.
Yeah. And I see that you're staking 0.15 Tau, so that is like
Yeah, it's not much. Some are higher, some are lower now.
Yeah.
I went a little heavier in like Dippy, because they were on Mark Jeffrey's show, and I was like, oh, I'm a little interested in that. There's a couple of them I did go a little heavier on, like Bit Ads is pretty cool and stuff like that. But majority of them are just 0.4, and to me, it's just my index fund, right? Like one of these are going to 100x, and I want to make sure that I hold it. And I don't know. I haven't did the research yet to pick and choose, so I will be doing that. I'm actually going to be going through each one and maybe doing something for the channel. Where once we do something in the future where I'm going to go through each one and just kind of do the research for it. So
yeah, according to our comment section, there's a lot of demand for us to go into each of the subnets and kind of explain everything.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I
And
think
it's not easy.
no, but
No.
you're doing what you're doing. I think is the best approach. That way you have skin in the game in all
Yeah,
of them.
incentive to look into each one. Yeah.
Yeah.
sure.
So your approach, I think, makes a lot of sense. And yeah, I think these subnets, specifically the ones that have been around for a while, like they deserve that deep level of due diligence, just because the market like needs to understand it better. Because this isn't like they're not memes, right? Some of these subnets are really complicated.
Yeah, and if you think about it, like the 200,000 barrier to start one, I think if you have the capital, and you have like substance to what you're bringing, it's probably a good idea because you're raising money as well, right? Through like people staking their Tau and all that stuff. And also, like they say, the first 30 days is probably not the best to do subnets. So we actually did that because we don't listen to what smart people say. but obviously you're speculating, and if you hit, then you're good. But my point is that I think the subnets are incentivized, if they want to keep the faucet going, at least to make sure that their subnets are performing well, in the future. But we'll see. It's definitely interesting, different than a lot of things in the space right now, and we'll see what has been. We'll see how this turns out.
And it's cool too, because it's not like anything I've ever experienced, right? This is like when I first got into like crypto again. It's like when I first started looking into Bitcoin, it was like, well, what does it do? How does this work? What are these inscription things? And I need a transfer inscription. What the hell is it? You know what I mean? It's like it's that feeling again, that feeling of finding something new.
I had to talk him into BRC20s back in early 2023, but it didn't take a
I was
lot.
so against it.
But
I was so
like,
against
he's like, this is like MS DOS or like some sort of old like computer program.
Yeah.
The way they do things over here, but man, this show's been amazing, man. You know, we love having you guys on. You know, I feel like we've definitely you know, meshed well with you guys the past couple times you guys have been on, and want to give you guys a minute before we end it. Any last words or anything to the audience here about Nat, what you guys have going on? The stage is yours.
Yeah, I just want to thank you guys for putting us on. You know, we watch your show every morning as well, so you know, we try to keep up with everything that we can as best we can, but we're definitely going to miss some things. And so we just thank you guys for doing everything that you're doing. And for us, I mean, we're just going to continue plugging away at this DMT thing. You know, we're strong believers in it, and you know, building something new, it is important. And it's gonna bring a new opportunity for creators as well. So that's always been our thing, is like focusing on creators. So stay tuned for all these updates for DMT and mScribe and Bitmap OS, because they're gonna come and they're gonna be really focused on like the fundamentals, like sustaining creators and allowing them to contribute their thoughts, their kind of like artistic approach to whatever it is, whether it's the metaverse or art on Bitcoin or even DeFi using, you know, DMT, right? So yeah, I appreciate you guys for kind of joining us on this journey.
Yeah, and for the core audience here, for you guys who watches you guys and us, you know, always have it in your mental bucket that, you know, the Bitcoin thesis is still like there.
Yeah.
Right. Like, you know,
This still has fundamentals.
yeah, like the ecosystem, it is still like the potential of a Bitcoin ecosystem. And it's why both of our channels have been like fixated on like covering this stuff for the last 2 years. Like, it is the biggest like asynchronous upside opportunity, I think, in the entire crypto space. So like just by pure like numbers games, right? Like Bitcoin is the biggest thing, and it's people are like slowly trickling back into like Bitcoin maxi mentality sets because of what we're experiencing abroad, right? It's like everything probably should center back to Bitcoin in some shape or form.
Mm-hmm.
So the people working and contributing to build anything of substance like in relation to Bitcoin, it needs to be supported and not like attacked in any way, right?
Yeah.
Any interpretation of like whether it's like a different version of DMT, or this is how we should be building on Bitmap or not, this is how we should be doing fungibles, non-fungibles, like none of this stuff should be vilified, attacked at all, because any attempt is like a tremendous scale contribution, especially in like in today's market environment where it's like there's like a lack of like appreciation, integrity, and like it's really difficult to build in these times, because you know, you could spend so much of your life and effort to try and do something, and you see some meme launch on Pumped Up Fun and like 1000x the market's like a perception of value in like the blink of a second. And that's very discouraging to a lot of builders out there. So for people who are actually committing themselves to this space, they deserve a lot more respect.
Yeah.
In my opinion. So yeah, so we're going to be looking around still. So, you know, Bitcoin's a huge opportunity, but so is all of crypto, right? So there's a lot of things to kind of cover, but keep it in the back of your head no matter what, whether we're focusing on AI on base or in Bittensor, Bitcoin still is that big like honeypot opportunity.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, 100%. I agree with everything you said.
Hardest place to build, but you'll probably, you know, get the biggest incentive in the future for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Well, guys, again, thank you both, Will and Iman, and you know, TJ back there. I know he's probably working hard.
I'm here. He's there.
Appreciate y'all, and you know, we look forward to the next time doing this.
All right, guys. Appreciate you guys.
Bye.
All right, take it easy.
Absolutely amazing as always, man. Just want to thank those guys. If you guys not following the Block Runner, go follow them. They're on YouTube, they're on X, or anywhere. It's at the Block Runner on X and the Block Runner on YouTube. So go check those guys out. You know, they have some of the best content. You know, we strive to, you know, be where they're at one day, right? Those guys have been doing this a lot longer than we have, and just appreciate and respect the work that they put in.
100%. And I'm excited to see, you know, where Nat goes and DMT as an ecosystem. So if you haven't checked that out, check it out. But yeah, 570 people. We've been live for 2.5 hours, putting in the grind Monday through Friday. But so do you guys by listening to us. I mean, you guys have hung out with us this entire time, it seems like. So we appreciate each and every one of you guys. And for the people in ETH Denver, we hope that you guys have safe travels, have fun. But yeah, if you wouldn't mind checking out our partners, we greatly appreciate that. Emblem Vault is the interoperability tool for the Bitcoin ecosystem asset class, more specifically Ordinals. You're going to be able to jump your Ordinals from Bitcoin Layer 1 to Abstract Chain to Bitcoin Layer 2 Merlin to Base to multiple EVMs and then Solana eventually. So it's going to be super exciting, taking the Ordinals to everybody there. They also have their AI wallet agent product that's going to be out for the Bitcoin side very soon. So you're going to be able to prompt Agent Hustle to vault your puppet, send it over to Merlin, send it to wherever, prompt Agent Hustle to buy you some runes. Those kind of functionalities are going to be available with Agent Hustle. Excited about that. And don't forget, they have their runes TGE coming up in September, which you can actually pre-purchase right now and trade on the secondary market as an ERC 721 and OpenSea. They're called Emblem Vault Founder Keys. And like I said, during their TGE, those NFTs will be able to, you'll be able to trade those in and open them up for the runes into your Bitcoin wallet. Super exciting. You can learn about all of this at emblem.vision. And then BetBTC is the predictions marketplace for the Bitcoin ecosystem. All you need is an Xverse wallet, some Bitcoin, and 6 blocks, and you will be able to start placing bets right away. They had a big announcement, I think today, or they're about to. I don't know if we're allowed to tell, but they have 24-hour markets. Shizzy was playing it's a bit fun, right? It's kind of like leverage, except for you can, do $1. You can do as much as you want. It's really, really exciting. But that's just one of their new features. They're about to create your own markets that you can have your followers place bets on, and you will earn 1.5% of the total volume for that. Super exciting. Also, if you just have activity on there, make $1 bets back and forth, you will earn points for their future rune. So super exciting. Make sure you check them out at betbtc.win. I think Shizzy, are you going to show something? Or okay, he's going to show you guys the 24-hour markets real quick.
Just come up here, click 24. Super easy. A price is going to pop up. My computer might be just running too slow. Yeah, price is going to pop up, and you basically bet it's going to be higher than lower. So right now I'm incentivized to go down because a lot of you guys went the other way. So I'll go negative, and I'll put $1 up there, and I'll slide it. And not only did I just I place this bet that I think it's going to go lower than the price, but I'm also potentially earning points, which gives me, these guys ain't shy of saying it, giving me the airdrop. So
you are earning points as every transaction. So make sure you go check that out. And then BitPerp, we had those guys on today. They are the perps and leverage decks of the Bitcoin ecosystem, going to be launching on a Bitcoin Layer 2 mainnet very soon. But right now, you go to bitperp.io and connect your wallet and get it'll automatically connect your MetaMask to the Botonics testnet, and you can start messing around right there and start trying to get your P&L up, because the winners will win something. Visit bitperp.io to learn more today. Also, Fluid tokens. These are the UTXO wizard devs of Bitcoin Layer 1, first to offer retail staking vaults on Bitcoin Layer 1. I think you might have a day or two maybe for Dog Season 2's staking vault. But if you do have some time, go check that out, and you can stake your dog to earn more dog. That dog staking box is going to open up for Bitcoin 2025 Las Vegas, so it's going to be a perfect time. Hopefully dog will be up by then, along with everything else in the ecosystem, hopefully. But if you are a founder of an Ordinal collection, or you etched a rune and you have an established community, reach out to Raul, which is the CTO of Fluid Tokens, to get a staking vault set up. Is there any more time left? Oh, you
have 1 day, 5 hours, and 23 minutes. 41 million dog, absolutely incredible, have been staked. So guys, when you do stake, you're doing it in a non-custodian way. You're just locking it in your own wallet, one of your million wallets inside, and then you're locking it in there. And then on the May 26th, you guys will come here, go to your stake, and you will unstake it just like I do. I have 400,000 runes staked there, and you just come here, and you have to wait 90 days and 5 hours. So when that day comes, I'll hit unstake, and boom, I'll get my dog back and the reward.
Yep. And you can visit fluidtokens.com and click on the Bitcoin icon to learn more about that. And then Merlin Chain, your #1 scaling solutions for Bitcoin native L1 assets and protocols. If you're a builder on Bitcoin Layer 1 and you want your protocol to be a bit more flexible, seamless, and quick, reach out to Merlin Chain's team and apply for a builder's grant. couple of our partners got into that program, so it's not impossible. If you are a retail user, then you can swap for Doggo to the Moon. They have a liquidity pool on merlinswap.org. Learn more at merlinchain.io. And don't forget about our integrated partners, Foxy. We're going to be live streaming the Clan Wars today at 3 p.m. Eastern time. So that's in about an hour and a half from now, I think, right? Yeah.
Yep.
So everybody's invited. All you need is a wallet that they support. So Bitcoin wallets, I think they support Phantom as well. You can check it out there. We will drop the URL once we go live, so anybody can jump in there. And so check that out. And then Ordinal Hive is the Ordinals aggregator marketplace for all Ordinals on Bitcoin layer 1 and layer 2. Cheapest Ordinals around on Ordinal Hive. Thank you guys so much for checking out our partners.
Yep, guys. You've been rocking with us now for 2 hours and 38 minutes. We really appreciate that. I really appreciate you guys going over and checking out our partners and all that stuff. And guys, that really helps us a lot. It shows our partners that, you know, we got views on them, and then we're helping them. So if you guys have this on, please go check out our partners. And if you have a few more minutes, you want to check mine, checking out ordinalrevolution.com. Brand new article just hit right this morning. So guys, go check this out here. You know, if you know someone just entering a space too, send them our website. We really feel like it can help them get started and code up to where we are today, just by going through article by article. They're not long articles; they're very short. You can get through them in you know, a few minutes, but it'll really get you caught up to everything that's going on. If you guys need a VPN, we have the best VPN. That's Nord. 70% off coupon, guys. You do not want to go on these websites with your IP hanging out. I don't want to see that. You don't want that to happen. That can actually lead them to your address. It's not okay. It's not good. But use Nord. If you don't use a Nord VPN, go get another one. There are some free ones out there. But if you want the best, that's Nord. And it's $3 a month. So check that out. If you guys need tickets to Bitcoin 2025 Las Vegas, we will both be there. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be absolutely crazy. But don't wait to get your tickets. It feels like the closer we get to May, the more and more they're going to be. Right now, that it's like $1,600 for the in the industry and like $700 for the festival one. But don't wait, guys. They're going to be like $2,000 and $1,000 really soon. So get in there as soon as possible. And if you pay with Bitcoin, you can actually get a discount there as well. If you guys need some merch, we have some of the best merch in all of crypto, not just Ordinals. Check everything out here at our store. That takes you to our Shopify, all done through a third party. Come here and you guys can see all the cool shirts, hats, and so much more. We appreciate you guys just taking a look. Again, that helps the show. But guys, we are live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 4 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, guys. Until tomorrow.
Peace.
We OG, oh no, G. You're not bullish enough, yeah. Oh no, you're not bullish enough. You ain't got the oh no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to Olo, yeah. Experts on reload, yeah. You're not bullish enough, yeah. Oh no, you're not bullish enough. You ain't got the oh no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to Olo. Experts on reload. Mempool getting hot. Everybody wanna rock, ayy. Runes is coming, everybody on a knot, ayy. It's a nuisance, Ordinal revolution, ayy. Ordinal revolution. Yo, is my guy for real, bro? Got French right now. Yo, BRC 420, bro. Yo, that shit on fire, bro. Imagine if he in here. Yeah, lock it in the seal. Murder. I got balls of steel. Nookies on the field. Yeah, this shit for real. With no calls, I get so far. Got 100 phone calls that I go hard, and they gon' love me. Smoke weed, huddle back. I get shiesty. Where my Bitcoin looking lovely. All this Satoshi's nothing above me.